Hello, and good morning. I hope you're all doing wonderful out there. I hope you're all having a wonderful morning. Thursday morning, 17th of April. Oh my days. Did you all see the football that happened last night? Just see that first. Not talking just about that first half, Crystal Palace away at St James's Park. Not just that. I'm going to park that aside. Did you see the UEFA Champions League quarterfinals? What an amazing performance. Put my hands up as an outsider looking at two Arsenal fans out there and to the Arsenal players, the way, not just that they won against Real Madrid, the way they did it over the two legs. Good morning and welcome to Diego C. Palace morning breakfast football show and reaction to what happened last night. If you're new to the channel, please hit a like and subscribe at Diego C. Palace. And if you can, give it a share it around, let people know that I'm trying to do this morning football show. Enjoy it. So, where do I start? Jürgen Klopp versus perhaps Xabi Alonso to Liverpool. And the reason why I'm going to mention this first off is it has to be said, I think. It's coming off an article that I saw on talkSPORT. And let me just put it in here in the chat so you can see. Why do I think this is important? This potential link between Jürgen Klopp and also, oh, 1 minute. It's not happening. I hope you can all see me all right. Let me just try and check. I'm just going to check the sound. Let's have a look. Is it going live? I don't know. Yeah, I think it is live. Yes, it is. It's fine. Don't panic. Just had to check that the sound is all okay. But yes, so going to start with this link between perhaps Xabi Alonso and also Jürgen Klopp linked to Real Madrid. I said for a few days and a few weeks actually that the moment that certain football clubs, especially in respect to most clubs that in European football, I expect the moment that they drop out of the Champions League or the Europa League or the Conference League, UEFA competitions, it kind of hits a domino effect in their football club in respect to their structure, management, players. In essence, the transfer window starts. For the Champions League clubs that have left last night, the Champions League, and now tonight it's going to be some more clubs that will go through and some of them that might drop out. Now, I'm going to mention first off this article here on talkSPORT. It's by a gentleman called Connor Andrews, a sports writer, and he published an article on talkSPORT. And not going to read it all for word, but what he's clearly saying to start off is that initially, and I've mentioned it before, I've been mentioning it for weeks on end, that I feel that Xabi Alonso has been linked to Real Madrid to replace Carlo Ancelotti. Carlo Ancelotti, the godfather of managers of Real Madrid, I suppose you can say that. He doesn't need to prove anything else at Real Madrid, I suppose. But it looks like he may look for a new challenge, perhaps managing the Brazilian national side. World Cup is been co-hosted by the United States, Canada, and Mexico next year. So that could be a challenge that it'd be something that he may not want to let go. So that kind of is going to leave a position at Real Madrid. I've been saying that for months, literally, not just weeks. And the fallout from that is obviously someone needs to come into Real Madrid, and there's a lot of momentum, I feel, from journalists in the Bundesliga about how Xabi Alonso, of course, the current manager of Bayern Leverkusen, very good coach, very good manager, and not surprised that he's linked to Real Madrid. However, this article by talkSPORT by Connor Andrews, he published it yesterday. He published it yesterday on the 16th of April, mentioning that they're looking to replace him, and obviously Carlo Ancelotti and Xabi Alonso is an option. But now comes a different twist, and the article goes into a point where I will read out here, where Conor Andrews talking to a journalist called Constantin Eckner, also told talkSPORT that Jürgen Klopp has a clause. It's not a small secret. Everyone's known, or I've said as just as a football fan, that there appears to be a clause for Jürgen Klopp, having him now taking that new position at RB Leipzig. Let's just say RB Leipzig's not a really popular German football club in the Bundesliga. They all, without going into the history of RB Leipzig, but nevertheless, Jürgen Klopp is there as a world football coordinator there at that football club, but there is a clause there apparently, should the German job come up, managing the national side of Germany. But now Real Madrid, because of the situation that of Carlo Ancelotti, perhaps potentially looking for a new challenge in his career, is going to leave that job vacant. Now, for me, do Real Madrid go for Xabi Alonso? For me, that will be a long-term strategy for the Real Madrid president Perez, or as the article goes on to say at the bottom of Connor Andrews, that there appears to be a lot of talk and it's gathering momentum around the inner circles around the Real Madrid president regarding Jürgen Klopp. Now, could he be enticed to go back into management, Jürgen Klopp? He has said before that he wouldn't have liked to manage a football club in a country where he doesn't speak the language. So, but to me, the language barrier, I don't think that will be an obstacle for a manager with the experience, with the knowledge, like Jürgen Klopp, because look at as an example, when he managed at Liverpool, Borussia Dortmund, all the other clubs that he's managed, there's never been a language problem there. I mean, it's with the players I'm talking about. They've clearly found a way to get around that. For me, the Jürgen Klopp option is something that for Real Madrid, it could be an instant reaction to where they are now. And what do I mean by that is the way they've just been knocked out of the Champions League. Now, here's where I've got to bring in the Arsenal fans and the Arsenal players and the Arsenal manager, Mikel Arteta. It wasn't the fact that they've just beaten Real Madrid. As a neutral looking at Real Madrid and Arsenal, it was the way the Arsenal players did it over the two legs. There's no doubt that the first leg, every player played their part for Arsenal against Real Madrid last week at the Emirates. But the player that clearly stuck out in the first leg was Declan Rice. I think Declan Rice has now positioned himself not just with those two free kicks, but the way in what he did, the way he bossed, the way he won the duels against the Real Madrid midfielders. And Declan Rice has now put himself in a pedestal, in my opinion, in a different stratosphere than he was than he was before. Um, um, People have now taken note of what he is capable of doing in big matches, like in that first leg in London last week, where Arsenal won 3-0. Some players have got it in their locker. Some players try to strive to get to those levels, but Declan Rice definitely delivered. I've seen him play at Selhurst Park against Crystal Palace as a football fan. I saw him play for West Ham, and I saw the difference of West Ham when he wasn't available for them, because obviously he moved to Arsenal. And I've seen Declan Rice play against Crystal Palace at Selhurst, and he's a very, very exceptional, not just a midfielder, defensive and attacking midfielder, but it's the other work rate that he does for the team and the way he leads by example. I expect that Thomas Tuchel is saying to himself, can we wrap him with cotton wool? We need this. We need it. But, so that was the first leg against Real Madrid. The second one, which I thought was obviously the performance from Bukayo Saka. And missing the penalty, getting into being grabbed at half time. We'll go into that in a minute by a certain individual, and before they went into the tunnel, and also the way he responded by doing his talking on the pitch. That was Bukayo Saka there last night against Real Madrid at the Bernabeu, and I think the unsung hero of both sides was Thomas Partey. I think Thomas Partey was pivotal, working along there in the midfield pivot, if you like, with Declan Rice for different roles in the transition from defence to attack as Arsenal players, man-to-man, won all their individual duels against the opposition. Small example, Saliba, I think he had Mbappe in his pocket. Yes, I know he made a little mistake there too, one of the goals in yesterday. But over the two legs, little duels like that were so important. And as I say, Declan Rice there leading by example. Now, why am I mentioning this? It's just that win of the Arsenal players last night and the first leg, in my opinion. It wasn't just a win. I think it was Bukayo Saka. I think he said afterwards, he said it was a statement win. And I think it's got a spot on there, like in that analogy of boxing, a statement fight, a statement duel, one day in the ring. As I said just a minute ago, all the Arsenal players individually, they won all the individual duels against the opposition, who they were up against, and collectively the way they worked, the intensity off the ball, and I also felt that the way they defended the way they defended last night in that first half. It ended 0-0, but I think that was as big as a neutral looking at that performance. I think it was good as what Declan Rice did in the first half. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but it's just the performance of the whole team on that pitch and how they neutralised and just did not allow and weathered a few storms in the first half, and they went in 0-0 yesterday at half time. That first half performance was up there with what Declan Rice and what Bukayo Saka did with thinking that ball over Courtois. It was absolutely amazing. Big up to her. Good morning to SSB 28. Yes, hello. He says, she says, he says, they say Arsenal play very well. This is coming from a Liverpool. Yeah, listen, this is what I'm talking about. I'm coming to that now. So basically, the win is just not the fact that how Arsenal won yesterday and in the first leg. It was the mannerism of how they collectively, individually, and as a starting 11 and as a squad, because the players that came on as substitutes, they also played a part. The manager, the coaching staff, and last night the Arsenal away fans. It just clicked, and it's coming after, I suppose, a disappointing season, I suppose, for the Arsenal fans, because I would have thought the majority of Arsenal fans would want to go into every competition and win that, whether it's the League Cup, the FA Cup, the Premier League, course, the Champions League. But they are doing very, very well with that performance against Real Madrid. It's the mannerism of how they've done it. Was it as big? Was it as a statement, dual win as when Manchester City beat Real Madrid previously in the Champions League? Yes, I think Arsenal did take it to a bit more. I mean, the only thing that is just missing is that it wasn't the final, and the Arsenal manager, the Arsenal captain, the Arsenal players, the Arsenal fans are not celebrating actually lifting the trophy. That's the only difference, that Manchester City actually got over the line and they won the Champions League. So that's about the only thing. But in the first leg and the second leg, oh my days, did they outplay, outthought, outwit, tactically, intensity, and just they got it over the line. The Arsenal players on the pitch, as I say, the first leg, Declan Rice bend it like Declan Rice, that expression that there is from before, he was bending like David Beckham. Declan Rice absolutely took it to a different stratosphere. It was a knockout blow, that one, especially that first free kick that he scored. But not just that, it's the other work that he did. So the mannerism of how Arsenal players beat Real Madrid out of, and they're the champions, and they didn't just beat a side with injuries or a side with a bad manager. It's Real Madrid at the Bernabeu and the way they've done it. So that's going to have a knock-in effect, I expect. I think it had a knock-in effect for the Real Madrid president and all the infrastructure within Real Madrid. I feel, as a football fan, as a Crystal Palace fan, I have no experience in the Champions League, but I think it's going to be a big domino that's going to just drop and it's going to cascade within Real Madrid. The article from talkSPORT by this gentleman, as I said earlier on, kind of highlights all that, what I just said, and more, in my opinion. I think it's a great article there by Connor Andrews, a sports writer for talkSPORT. And it's now opened a can of worms, and it kind of links up with what I've been thinking and feeling for the last 4 to 6 months, that the moment that certain clubs drop out of the Champions League or Europa League competitions, it's going to have a knock effect in the incoming transfer window in respect to managers going from one place to the other and players, in a way that perhaps not as the previous years, is because this year, Carlo Ancelotti, for me, the way I see it, he's going to move to a new challenge in his career, taking the Brazil job. Now, with Xabi Alonso, as I said earlier on, I think that will be a long-term acquisition for Real Madrid. But I think clubs like Real Madrid, they want instant trophies, Champions League, Copa del Rey, La Liga, all those. They want that instantly, like now. They don't want to wait until pre-season. They want to land it now. And the instant replacement, I would have thought, would be a manager with the caliber, with the experience of Jürgen Klopp. Now, I'm going to move on now, but I'm just going to hold on. Big up to SSB for all your comments. SSB says Arsenal beating Real Madrid twice, and this is SSB 28 mentioning Arsenal beating Real Madrid twice in a 2-leg tie is crazy. Yeah, I would go with that, but I think it's more than that. It's the way they've done it. It's the way the players done it. Not just the captain, not just one player or two players. It's not a one team. They all won their duels against every single Real Madrid opposition player, whoever it was, the left back up against the winger that's coming at them, etc. All over the park, they were better on the pitch. And it goes on to say, I don't remember the last time Real Madrid lost 2 in a row UCL time. Even City drew this. Yeah, they drew one of them. This is why I'm putting that comparison. And the difference is that obviously City lifted the trophy. People are going to remember what Arsenal did in the first leg and the second leg, but ultimately, people only remember the club that actually lifts the trophy. So it is history in the making what the Arsenal players achieved, what the Arsenal away fans achieved by pushing their players onto victory at the Bernabeu last night. But it's ultimately, I would have thought, about winning the trophy, and they're not at the final yet. It's just the quarterfinal stage. Oh. But they've certainly done an absolutely amazing job there, the Arsenal players. SSB 28 goes on to say, Arsenal have essentially blown. Has on a project when Real Madrid lost to City, you never had a feeling of whether the players were good enough. Real Madrid need soul searching. Yes, I'm coming to that. That's an excellent point there. Absolutely. Even Real Madrid fans, and dare I say it, on the same page, Liverpool fans there, they understand. I would say so more Liverpool fans because of their hurt, if you like, of their disappointment. As a Crystal Palace fan, as an outsider looking at to Liverpool fans, I think Liverpool could easily have had 2 or 3 more Champions League trophies in their trophy cabinet at Anfield, had it not been the way they always landed playing up against Real Madrid in this competition, the Champions League. So that's 3 more Champions League trophies. Certainly 2 of them, I feel that 2 of them, the way some of the decisions on the day went against Liverpool players and the Liverpool fans, I'm thinking I would have been fuming if I was in that situation. But so there's an umbilical cord, if you like, between Liverpool fans, and I'm saying this very carefully, between Liverpool fans and Real Madrid fans, of the rivalry between, say, like a set of twins, and they start playing football and then they fall out, and then there's competition there. There's a lot of memories there, I expect, between Liverpool fans and Real Madrid fans. And I think after what they both saw last night, the Real Madrid fans and the Liverpool fans, looking at how Arsenal performed, not just last night, but in the first leg, Bender, like Rice, when he did that free kick, I was like, bam. I think what's happening there, those 2 fan bases, Liverpool fans and Real Madrid fans, will be saying, as what SSB's just mentioned there in the chat, Real Madrid need to need their soul searching. So, in essence, has Arsenal, with the performance last night and in the first leg at the Emirates, did they take the soul out of Real Madrid? And they've certainly given it a knockout blow, and that's why Real Madrid are out. Whether it's completely extinguished, I don't think so. I'm sure that Liverpool fans will say, if you underestimate Real Madrid in cup competition in the Champions League, you'll be very naive to do that, right? But over the 2 legs, Arsenal got it spot on. SSB goes on to say, the year City beat Real Madrid, the games were closer. Yes, it was a different type of format as well in qualifying for the Champions League as well, to the ladder from the beginning, the group stages to the ladder. And I would add to that, yes. City only put it on Army in the last half hour, 4-0 game at the Etihad a couple of years ago. That's right. Real Madrid, it goes on, SSB goes on to say, Real Madrid, the last couple of years had told players they target on other clubs to run down their contracts and give salary after. You can't do that with a rebuild. Exactly. So this goes on to emphasize what I'm trying to get to, is that I feel that this is what I've been going on about for months now, literally, that as clubs get knocked out in the Champions League, in the Europa League, there's a lot of structural changes within these clubs involving European football. And there's a prime example as what SSB 28's mentioned. What's happening at Real Madrid now, they need to have a rebuild in strategy, in what they're going to bring in, what they're going to keep, what they're going to let go. But surely before they go down that road, which they're already on them, because the moment they get knocked out of the Champions League, they have to think of the next challenges. Or they want to win the La Liga, any domestic cups this season, and of course in the next season. But they need to appoint the right manager, I would have thought, at Real Madrid. And this is what I said about 5 minutes ago in respect to the article on talkSPORT, where it mentions a very good manager in Xabi Alonso. Liverpool fans will know Xabi Alonso very well, of course. And the other option, which could be Jürgen Klopp. Jürgen Klopp, as I said before, he did say publicly that he wouldn't want to go to manage a football club where the language is completely different. But I think language is not a barrier when it comes to managers of the caliber of Jürgen Klopp. I don't think that'll be a barrier. I think he'll pick up the Spanish like that. If he probably already knows most of it. He's had so many players speaking Spanish in his changing room over not the years, but over the decades, that he'll know what to say in Spanish to a Spanish player. Pull your socks up, that kind of thing. So, Jürgen Klopp at Real Madrid, what would he bring to Real Madrid? And this is where it gets delicate. First of all, him and being in that changing room will ultimately, instantly get the respect of all the players, whether they are young players, established players, or players, as SSB 28 mentioned there, players that could be, if you like, being ushered out of contract so you can free up potential new incomers for Real Madrid. There's going to be structure changes. Luka Modric is going to be leaving. There's a lot of players at Real Madrid that are on the last 2 years in their contract. So there's a lot that can happen there. So a manager like with the experience of Jürgen Klopp will be able to, in my opinion, multitask the match day preparation, one side of it, pre-season, if you like, and at the same time, that type of pressure role as the manager of Real Madrid with what's going out and what's going in. And so could it work? I think it could. But then this is where it gets delicate. Jürgen Klopp brings to him if he does go down to be the next manager of Real Madrid, he would bring an abundance of knowledge of how one of the main rivals in the Champions League history of the competition, Liverpool. Jürgen Klopp knows the identity, the fabric, the workings of Liverpool FC. He'll know instantly there and thereabouts status from a status point of view of contracts and status of Liverpool players. Now, this is where I need to be careful, because I'm talking about Liverpool current players that may be thinking, if Jurgen Klopp is going to Real Madrid and the transfer window is down the road, should I now be looking for a fresh challenge? That's as diplomatic as I can put it. There's already been talked at Liverpool this season. As a Crystal Palace fan, I noticed it. Even when they got knocked out of the FA Cup to Plymouth Argyle, I was still thinking there should have been enough in there with the squad in there for them to get through past somebody like that in the FA Cup. I'm kind of glad that they got knocked out, because we haven't faced them in the FA Cup. If you know, you know. But there was a talk earlier on, clearly, about Trent Alexander-Arnold, and I feel that the moment, did Trent Alexander-Arnold did anything wrong before that link happened? I don't think he did. But I think the moment that Real Madrid made an intention of interest about the player, I think that was their words, and talkSPORT wrote it out there, Fabrizio Romano talked about it as well, then the club and the player need to, because at that time, they were still top of the Premier League. They're still up top of the Premier League, but they were top of the qualifying in the Champions League table, in the group stage. And so I was thinking the way they're handling it, it's just it doesn't smell right. It doesn't land right. There should have just been a clear saying, he's not leaving. If you are interested in him, come to us at the end of the season. End of. But the way it all came out and the way it all erupted, it kind of put it all on the shoulders of Trent Alexander-Arnold. Now, he already went through a dip of form. I think he was trying to knock off an injury at the time. So he was making mistakes on the pitch for Liverpool. Just before that first initial approach from Real Madrid to Liverpool for Trent Alexander-Arnold. And I felt that after that approach was made, like it was made public by reliable sources like from talkSPORT and also from Fabrizio Romano, like those, and Sky Sports as well, I felt that Liverpool didn't, it's like they didn't, the wheel didn't come off, if you like, the truck or the car. Can I explain it? I'll tell you what, do you know, like when you look at a bus or a lorry and you look at the big wheel, and on the wheel nuts of the bus, on the wheel, there is this kind of triangles like this, and they all point to each other. They're all on the bolts of the wheel of the bus, and they're all pointing to each other, right? And the reason that is like that is because it helps the driver before it sets off to just look at the tires, and they should all be pointing to the right point, so they're together. And I reckon that when that link between Real Madrid made that initial approach for Trent Alexander-Arnold, whether he was responsible for that or not, I'm just a Crystal Palace fan. You got to talk to Liverpool fans about that. But I felt that that's when those bolts on that wheel came off. The bolt didn't come off, but they weren't. It was coming loose. I hope that makes sense. That's the only way I can put it. So for me, could Slot have dealt with that better as an outsider looking in? I think he could have. Maybe he didn't have the experience. Could Jürgen Klopp have dealt that situation had he been at Liverpool? 100% yes. I reckon he would nut that in the head and he says, look, if you're interested to go, fair enough, but we've got things to do this season. At the end of the season, you can go on your Instagram, you can go on whatever, and you can do whatever you want. But right now, we have Champions League, Premier League, FA Cup, League Cup to get the job done, right? They got to the League Cup. Look what Newcastle did to them, all right? Look what Newcastle did to my Palace last night. Please don't remind me. But anyway, but you get my point. So I think that happened. So with Jurgen Klopp being linked to Real Madrid, Trent Alexander-Arnold, there's been talk recently about Alexia McAllister. And make no mistake about it, the team that Jurgen Klopp left, Mr. Slot, Arnold Slot, at Liverpool, not because I say so, top European managers in European football, in every league in Europe and in the Premier League, that first starting 11 for Liverpool, oh my days, they had McAllister, they had Gravenberch, the Netherlands player, then the pivot, Slobosly, they had Luis Diaz, Mo Salah, Jota, when he wasn't injured, up top. At the back, Ibrahim Konate, when he wasn't sort of falling out with Virgil van Dijk. That's what I've heard. But they had Ibrahim Konate, Virgil van Dijk, Robertson on the right-hand side, Trent Alexander-Arnold, right? And Alisson Becker, and even their backup goalkeeper. My days, they were top of the Premier League. They were top of the Champions League. They're still top of the Premier League, by the way, in case of you who are not living underneath a rock and haven't come out and looked at it. They're going to win the Premier League. But that's what he inherited. But he should have, in my opinion, Mr. Slot, the Liverpool manager, the moment that any player, whether it was Mo Salah, Trent Alexander-Arnold, been linked elsewhere, he should have just put a nod to it and says, look, we'll do this once we've got the trophies in the cabinet. Then you can talk about whether you want to stay or go. I think that is what Jurgen Klopp would have done. And that's exactly what Real Madrid, I think, needs. It needs an experienced hand there. Jürgen Klopp knows how to handle those situations. The language barrier will not be a language barrier. I don't believe it for 1 minute. Jürgen Klopp has been managing international football players at Liverpool, elsewhere where he's managed all his career life as a coach and as a manager. So the language barrier, that's not a problem for me. I think that's for the birds. I respect that Jürgen Klopp said that before, that he wants to, if he does go back into club management, it'll have to be a club where he can speak the lingo, whether it's German, Dutch, or perhaps English. But I think the Spanish won't be a problem. I don't think it will be a problem. But anyway, so I think Jürgen Klopp could be an appointment. The reason why I'm mentioning this is because with that effect, if there is going to be an exodus in the midfield, in wingers, the goalkeeping is changing at Real Madrid. If there is an exodus of players being moved off the books at Real Madrid, and Jürgen Klopp has just landed there, it's not just Liverpool fans that are going to be thinking, oh my days, this man knows about a club. Jürgen Klopp knows, how can I put it to you? In plain simple, when Jürgen Klopp, my understanding is when he landed at Liverpool, he didn't just do this and it all came to him, the Champions League, the Premier League, the cups that he won there. It took him, I think, about 2 seasons and a half to get, not rid of, but to get the players that he wanted in there. He built a legacy, if you like, in the time that he was at Liverpool as the Liverpool manager. Furthermore, I think what Jürgen Klopp has in his tool bag is, should he land at Real Madrid, is what he's learned at Liverpool, what he learned, Borussia Dortmund, all the other clubs that he's managed, is that he has a knack, he has the ability to click with the identity, the fabric of the fan base, of what the club is about. I can't describe it to you, but as an outsider, looking into what Jürgen Klopp did to Liverpool, when Liverpool always came to Selhurst Park back in the day, the player that I hated to watch play against my Crystal Palace was Sadio Mane. That man was not human when he played against my Crystal Palace. And then you had all the players. I reckon Jürgen Klopp back in the day will go into his changing room, on the away changing room at Selhurst Park, and he will take out the gauntlet and give it to Sadio Mane and say, Sadio, there is the gauntlet, from the Avengers. There's the gauntlet. You can put it on today and go around the changing room and pick the stones of Mo Salah, of Jota, of Henderson, their captain when they won the Champions League, etc. Just put them. And that's it. He was just not human. Sadio Mane was like, please just have a day off. And he never did. Right? And now when he left Liverpool, that squad that I've just mentioned about Liverpool, when I've seen them at Selhurst Park, the players that start for Jürgen Klopp against my Crystal Palace, I've always felt that they knew they were going to get a game, and 2, if they weren't sharp about it, we'll do a number on them, and it's just not because of what I just saw on the pitch, but also with the banter that you would have as the Arthur Wade stand, the Liverpool away fans, and Crystal Palace fans. And it's just brilliant. It's just brilliant. You just can't explain it unless you're in the Arthur Wade stand and you're giving it to them and they're giving it back to you. It's brilliant, especially on night kickoffs. It's just brilliant. But anyway, so Jürgen Klopp knows how to connect with the identity, the fabric of the clubs. Can he do that at Real Madrid? Would he be able to do that at Real Madrid? I think he could. And I think if I was a Liverpool fan, I'd be worried about that because they know what he can do because of what he did for them at Liverpool. I don't think Jürgen Klopp was just a coach and a manager at Liverpool. I think for the Liverpool fans, I think he became part of their family, of their soul, of the Liverpool thing, whatever that may be. But it was an umbilical cord between the coach, the manager, and the Liverpool fan. Could he replicate that at Real Madrid? That would be the worry I expect of a Liverpool fan. I'm thinking, oh my days, if he does that over there as well, there'll be no stopping him and Real Madrid. The other side I will say is, and this is why I'm mentioning it, this is big up to talkSPORT mentioning this, is that if he does land, if Jürgen Klopp does land at Real Madrid, in my opinion, there's going to be not just Liverpool players that will be talking to the Rangers and saying, I've done my best here, or I've done what I can here. Can you get me linked up over there? Because there's something big that's gonna happen. Players are going to be leaving Real Madrid, and they're going to be wanting to bring in certain players with the style of football, with the type of mentality that Jurgen Klopp's bringing to a football club. It's just the football club. It's the worldwide brand of, in this instance, Real Madrid, as he did with Liverpool. There'll be a lot of players. There won't be a short list of players at the top game right now, and they'll be saying, if I'm not winning anything here, can you try and get me over there? And I'm going to give you one example, and I'm going to be very delicate because I don't want to take this away from the Arsenal fans, because they absolutely deserve the way that the mannerism of how they beat Real Madrid yesterday and in the first leg. Declan Rice, bending it like Declan Rice, the whole team performance. The silent hero, I think, is Thomas Partey in both games. Oh, my days. He was absolutely top Geordie for the Arsenal players, I think. Last night was Bukayo Saka. But I'm going to say this to the Arsenal fans with all sensitivity. If Mikel Arteta's statement performance this season is knocking out Real Madrid in the quarterfinals, but they fall short in the semi-finals and they don't get to the final, or they get to the final and they don't live the damn thing, no one's going to remember Arsenal. And the Arsenal fans know this. And the point I'm trying to land is, players like Bukayo Saka, players like Declan Rice, I guarantee you that the president of Real Madrid, when he was watching that first leg and saw what Declan Rice did to his midfielders in his team at Real Madrid, to the whole team of Real Madrid, he'll be saying, we haven't got that in the changing room. We haven't got that. Can someone go and get me this player? With Bukayo Saka, what he did yesterday, they might be saying, we haven't got a Bukayo Saka right now. Can we go and get this type of player? The reason why I'm saying that delicately is because if players like Declan Rice and Bukayo Saka are at Arsenal, and if the defining moment of them for them this season is just to knock out Real Madrid in the quarterfinals, but fall short in the semi-finals and then in the final, perhaps, they're going to be thinking, I need to win something. So it's delicate. It's so delicate. It's going to have a domino effect. Will Declan Rice leave Arsenal or Bukayo Saka? Of course not. I don't think so. But if they don't win trophies year after year after year under Mikel Arteta, they're going to leave. And would you blame them? Now, Mikel Arteta, can he get it over the line? I think he now can. What I saw last night and the first leg, the doubts that I thought I had off him, I was thinking tactically, the team that he put out there, as I say, the Arsenal players up against all the Real Madrid players individually, they won their individual duels, whether they were a right back, a left back, a defensive midfielder, whether they're attackers, they beat the opposition and as a team. And off the ball, Arsenal were better as well. There was no intensity, there was no press, there was no Real Madrid were lacking at creativity in the midfield. Luka Modric was on the bench, and they put him on too late, I think. So they were lacking a lot. They were lacking what Arsenal brought to both legs of the Champions League quarterfinals. So for me, it's a pivotal point what's just happened last night for Arsenal fans, for Liverpool fans, and for Real Madrid fans. It's like a little crossroads. For Arsenal fans, they need to, what they did over that first two legs, I would have thought, I'm a Crystal Palace fan. What do I know about Champions League? What do I know? But I think, as an outsider looking into it, I think the Arsenal fans need to get their players not just to replicate what they did, yes, last night and in the first leg, but they need to keep that consistency between now and the games leading up to the semi-final and then the final, and getting it over the line. Whether they can get it and lift that Champions League trophy, you need to talk to Arsenal fans, because they'll probably tell you what they feel about Mikel Arteta, the coaching staff there, and the players, and how they respond. I've always said that managers that get to those latter stages of competitions is the manager that wins it. It's the one that has the most options. If they have returning players from injury, the better options that they have on the bench, fitness levels and performance levels, is probably they need a bit of luck. You need a bit of luck as well. Can they lift the trophy, the Champions League? If Arsenal don't lift the Champions League trophy, yes, people are going to remember what they've just done to Real Madrid. But people are only going to remember the person that lifts the trophy. That's the way I see it. Now, Jürgen Klopp, if he lands at Real Madrid, that would be a very attractive proposition, not just for Liverpool players who are on their last year and a half in their contracts at Anfield right now, but also other Premier League players to maybe get his ties to go into that new project at Real Madrid. And the second point that I want to add on this is very simple. When there is an exodus of players leaving Liverpool, perhaps Newcastle, Man City, Arsenal, if there is a change of players going out, they're going to go shopping. And where they're going to come shopping? To Oliver Glasner's and his well-performing players. I know it's difficult for me to say that after what happened last night at St James's Park, but for me, it's a domino effect. What's happening at Real Madrid is one thing that I think is going to have a domino effect, not just in management, but in players going in and out across Champions League competitions, clubs that are eligible to play in that competition, but also in Serie A, in the Netherlands, in all the leagues across Europe, and in the Premier League. It's going to have an effect on the transfer window. In essence, the transfer window has just started because Real Madrid are now changing their manager. They're going to. I don't think he will stay for another year. He's still got one more year, Carlo Ancelotti. That's my understanding, but I think he's not going to let go of that opportunity to manage Brazil in the World Cup next year, where it's been co-hosted by the United States and also Mexico and Canada. So I don't think he's going to let that one go. I think that opportunity doesn't come around too often. And Ancelotti, I don't think he has anything more to prove in domestic European football. He's the Don. It is what it is. Right, there is some more things I'm going to mention about Real Madrid and Mason. Go and check out the. Actually, I don't know how to do it. How would you put the link for this talkSPORT? Oh, let me just. I have no idea. Just bear with me. I'm going to try and put the link. Copy. I'm going to give it a go. I've not done this before. I'm going to put the link for the talkSPORT article by a gentleman called Connor Andrews. talkSPORT, which is where I've got most of my information, and it kind of resonated with what I've been thinking for the last few months. I think it's just the way he's put like 3 different sections in it, and it's absolutely brilliant. I'm not sure if this is going to work. Yes, it has. Okay, so it's quite clear that it's talkSPORT. Go and check it out. It's a sports writer for talkSPORT, I think, and his name is Connor Andrews, and he uploaded this yesterday. Go and check it out. Anyway, big up to SSB 28 says, where did I last mention the last comment? RM last couple of years told players target. Yeah, so I read that one. Yeah, and then Klopp could revive some ill. This is from a Liverpool fan. I think if there's something that I always say, Liverpool fans, when it comes about talking about Champions League, they will tell it real. They don't have to prove anything because they know how many trophies they've got in comparison to other Premier League clubs that have never won the Champions League, may I say, one. And number two, they haven't got as many Champions League victories of the competition itself in their cabinet. Well, Liverpool have got considerably a lot more. Right, Klopp could revive some if these Real Madrid players' careers, Tchouaméni, Rodrigo, Camavinga. Absolutely, this is the thing. So I'm wondering if is it fair to say that what happened to Arsenal in the first leg and in the second leg against Real Madrid last night and in the first leg was a detriment effect of how Ancelotti was thinking, I'm going to Brazil next season, and the players are like, do I put 110% in here? There was a discord within the team at Real Madrid. Did that upset that situation within Real Madrid? Is there something else going on behind the scenes up to the level of the president of Real Madrid? Possibly. There's a lot of talk going on there. I'm a Crystal Palace fan and I'm hearing stuff. So there is something there, but that's taken nothing away from the Arsenal players and the way the mannerism of how they won the first leg and the second leg. You can't take nothing away from them. It was a statement, as Bukayo Saka said after the match yesterday. What occurred there was it was a statement win, in using the boxing analogy. SSB28 says Klopp could revive some if these Real Madrid players' careers. Tchouaméni, absolutely. Rodrigo, Camavinga, and other careers have started to stagnate. But yes, because it's not just about being a first team starter. I would expect for a club like, as an example, maybe Liverpool or Manchester City or Real Madrid in the Champions League. It's about the competitiveness of it, of players like Tchouaméni, Rodrigo, Camavinga, as an example, Bellingham as well. And it's about challenging them, I expect, to reach higher and higher accolades within their playing careers at that particular club at Real Madrid. Could Jürgen Klopp elevate those levels? That's a no-brainer. Absolutely, he will demand authority in training, on match days like that from every single one of those players, without a matter of a doubt, and new manager coaching ideas. So yeah, I agree with that, SSB. I like that. I'm going to pin that. Thank you very much for your comments there, SSB28. That's amazing. SSB says most of these Real Madrid players make negative languages isn't even Spanish. Exactly. The language barrier, I don't think that will affect a manager with the caliber of Jürgen Klopp. No way. No way. He'll be fine. I think Jürgen Klopp would just have to look at someone not playing well in training and says that's enough. A look from Jürgen Klopp will probably mean the player will be like, you know what, tomorrow morning we're supposed to start at 8 o'clock. I'm coming in at 6 o'clock in the morning and I'm going to get stuck in. That is probably what Jürgen Klopp gets out of the players. I'm sure that's what he probably did at Liverpool, if not more. SSB28 goes, most of these RM players' negative language isn't in Spanish. A lot of the clubs using this as a club language, like PSG, Bayern, etc. Yes, yes. The common denominator of European football is they use English. So it's just how they communicate, because everyone. These players, when they develop as young through the academies, wherever nation they may come through, they naturally learn English, and they've picked it up. So, and yeah, so it doesn't surprise me. Absolutely. Will Florentino Perez give a new manager that much power? Ancelotti wanted a Harry Kane. Perez said no. I think with that situation, with Ancelotti requesting or wanted to land Harry Kane, of course, we all know that he went to Bayern Munich, and had Harry Kane not landed at Bayern Munich, I guarantee you that Vincent Kompany will not be in the manager role right now. That's another one. I'm going to come to that in a minute about Bayern Munich, Bayern Leverkusen, and RB Leipzig, three different German Bundesliga clubs looking for managers potentially between now and the end of the season. And in Oliver Glasner, he's very well sought after in European royalty circles of coaches and managers. Um, um, yeah, I'll come to that. I will talk about that a bit later on, about Crystal Palace, Oliver Glasner, and what I feel about Spurs and other clubs, RB Leipzig and other clubs linked to him. I think Oliver Glasner, just quickly, I think he's dealt with it absolutely brilliantly. I think him, his coaching staff, the staff that he's inherited at Crystal Palace, they're focused on what Crystal Palace have to do. And yeah, I have no problem with that situation. What I have an issue is the other clubs having a look, like looking through the window. We haven't done our season just yet, and I don't think Oliver Glasner is the type of coach or manager to not be focused on the match-to-match thing that he has to do at Crystal Palace and where he wants to get to. He's won silverware in Europe, and he's done it. He's grafted it. He wasn't handed squads there like Mr. Slot, Arnold Slot, like he has at Liverpool this season. Um, um, Oliver Glasner has built squads before, and look what he's doing at Crystal Palace. Different style of football. I'm going off subject now, but you get my point. So I think Oliver Glasner's dealt with all these links to him by other clubs, Premier League and European clubs linked to him, in the best way possible. But I'll talk about that later on. Will Florentino Perez give a new manager such powers? Ancelotti wanted Harry Kane, but Perez said no. I think there was cost constraints there. I'm not giving Florentino Perez, the president of Real Madrid, any slack. People like that in world football don't need slack or assistance, I think. But they've got enough. They've got enough. They've got their own powers, if you like. I think there was a cost constraint there, and they could not bring him in unless they took people off the payroll at Real Madrid. They couldn't shift out people. That's the way I kind of felt with it. But who knows? What do I know? Zinedine Zidane wanted Pogba and Sadio Mane, but Perez said no. This is the thing. The structure at Liverpool when Jürgen Klopp arrived, even Jürgen Klopp himself said it. It wasn't just him in the scouting team, in the coaching, in the medical department. It was a team of people working with him at Liverpool, and there are strategically people that he brought in there, in the scouting, in the coaching staff, where the different departments in different areas of the coaching for the Liverpool setup, and also in the how they develop, how they look after their bodies, how they develop in training. That was it was a team of people that Jurgen Klopp built there. Could he have the time and the authority to implement that type of structure at Real Madrid? That could be an obstacle, and I think that's a fair point there by SSB 28. Make no mistake about it. There's a pecking order at Real Madrid, and the president there, and probably no more than two individuals around him, they're the ones that call the shot. And the manager will have perhaps an opinion to be able to elaborate on their opinion. But whether they make the decision? Probably not. So I think it's about giving the Real Madrid manager options, and I think that's what also happened at Liverpool, them giving them options. But when that lands, in my opinion, I think that's going to have a domino effect in what type of squad, as an example, Arnold Slot will have at Liverpool next season. If Jurgen Klopp is announced within the next 2 months or the next month as the new Real Madrid manager, if Fabrizio Romano says, here we go, Jurgen Klopp is in consultations, in talks with Real Madrid. If we get that from somebody like Real Madrid or from talkSPORT or from Sky Sports, and it's credible, because it should be credible from those kind of sources, I have to say, Liverpool players, Liverpool fans out there will be thinking, what type of Liverpool is going to have pre-season and starting the next campaign of the next season on. So it's going to have a domino effect. And if there's players that leave Liverpool, as I said, not just Liverpool, but other Premier League clubs, and they end up going to Real Madrid with the knowledge that Jurgen Klopp is then at Real Madrid, it's going to have a domino effect with other clubs that are progressive in involvement in progressing the players that they have, like Crystal Palace. They bring in players and they develop them. And from the Crystal Palace perspective, I expect the initial investment comes in here and it gets moved out at high levels. So the club wins that, but also the players able to develop their skills and their prospects. Steve Parish, the Crystal Palace chairman, mentioned that to Sky Sports, that the club has always been, not his exact words, has always been an importance for the Crystal Palace Football Club to help develop and enhance the playing abilities of all the Crystal Palace players, whether they come from academy, whether they bring them in from other academies and they come in Premier League ready or not. There is and also players that are going on to new pastures. The Crystal Palace club always looks after their well-being and their needs in that respect. And if there is an exodus of players leaving Liverpool, they've already had interest. My understanding is with Mark Gahey. It looks like Mo Salah is staying at Liverpool. Ibrahim Konate, he's got a year and a half or less than a year in a contract, so he has to be negotiated. And Luis Diaz is one of the least well-paid players at Liverpool. I think that's an outcry. Yes, I know I've got my Colombian roots, and I think that's terrible. If Liverpool can't play, can't pay, can't renew, and give really a good wage deal and a good contract to Luis Diaz, I think Luis Diaz can leave with his head held high and says, "Look, I've really made an effort here, but look what you guys are offering me," and it could end up in Barcelona. That's what I hear. So there's going to be holes, and when those holes vacate at Liverpool, do they go for Premier League ready players like Mark Gahey, or do they go in for unknowns but potentially players that could make the mark? As an example, Darwin Núñez. Darwin Núñez will not get in front at my Crystal Palace in front of Eddie Nketiah and Jean-Philippe Mateta. That's why when he was playing against Plymouth Argyle in the Championship, he's a good striker. He does a lot of work off the ball, but he's not an impact player. And if you play, I expect for a club like Liverpool, and you're playing in that position of where the likes of Robbie Fowler played in, lad, you need to deliver, and he hasn't. I think he went to Liverpool too soon in his career. That's my view as an outsider looking in. He went in there too quickly. Please hit like and subscribe at Diego C. Palace. So I'm talking about the article on talkSPORT that was published yesterday by a gentleman called Connor Andrews, and I've put the link in the chat. Go and check it out. It's actually got about 4 sections to it, but I've just taken like 2 sections of it about the implications of Jürgen Klopp now being lead. It's like a Titanic, what do you call it? Titanic plate. You know, the things underneath the surface of the sea, moving. And Jürgen Klopp, if he lands at Real Madrid, oh my days, that's like a biggest domino to fall, and it's going to affect other Premier League clubs, French clubs, Bundesliga clubs. It's going to have an effect all across European football, world football, not just in management, appointments, but also, in my opinion, players. It's going to have a massive effect. And SSB 28 says, I wonder about some other clubs in Europe and their finances. That's the other things, the fair play and all that. EPL makes, there you go, you just mentioned it. EPL makes such more money compared to the other league clubs. And even the point of where league teams start to decline. That's the other thing, and there's that World Club competition where the winner of that gets big money. It's one of those. Good morning, I should say. Nearly said good evening. Good morning to Nikkei. I hope you're well. Thank you for dropping in. And he wants Klopp. I presume you're a Real Madrid fan. Real Madrid fans, if you land Jürgen Klopp, as an outsider looking in, I don't understand Liverpool. I don't understand really what Liverpool got from Jürgen Klopp, because I don't get it, because I'm a Crystal Palace fan. I've got enough things to worry about. I'm worried still about what happened last night against Newcastle. Like, I've still got a headache after that first half. Like, real talk. But what Jürgen Klopp brought to Liverpool and how he connected to the fans, to the what I call the fabric, the identity of the club, Liverpool fans would understand that, and they will be thinking to themselves, oh my days, if he lands at like Real Madrid and he gets some scope, as what SSB mentioned 28, about what kind of scope he could have over acquisition of coaching staff, medical staff, infrastructure within the first team setup, and more importantly, the players that could potentially come in and leave Real Madrid. He won't be at the top of the pecking order. Make no mistake about it. There's two individuals around the president of Real Madrid that they and the president of Real Madrid, they call the shots there. End of. All right? Nothing gets past them, like literally. So basically, Jürgen Klopp, if he gets the right setup there, the team will respond to him because he demands the authority, the experience. And as I say, I don't think the language will be a problem there. So, but that will have a detrimental effect to other transfers. In effect, the fact that Real Madrid have now been knocked out of the Champions League, and not just that, it's the mannerism of how the Arsenal players knocked Real Madrid in the second leg and in the first leg. The mannerism of how that's come about, as somebody's mentioned in the chat, I think it was SSB 28, ripping up, if you like, the soul of Real Madrid fans and how they relate to their first team. And they're heartbroken because they've seen one of the best coaches that's ever managed for them in the godfather of managers, Carlo Ancelotti. And so they're having to relinquish and maybe, I don't think putting a plaster on that torn up soul of Real Madrid fans is the answer. And Real Madrid don't act like that. They get big names in. And Jürgen Klopp, you notice that there is absolutely no word coming out from Jürgen Klopp or from RB Leipzig at the moment. It is a silent. It's like a library right now. But when it comes to RB Leipzig, mentioning little hints here in media outlets, in Bundesliga sports outlets, about Oliver Glasner potentially being the next replacement, next manager at RB Leipzig, there's loads of it. But now they've all gone quiet about Jürgen Klopp going to Real Madrid because it's a big domino that's going to have an effect. Good afternoon, good morning. Oh my God, good morning, Lola. I hope you're doing well. Thank you very much for dropping in last night and on the chat. And I hope that I'm glad that you're back again. Good morning to lovely Lola. Big up to you. Morning, Hottie in a red jumper. It's for you. It's for you. I'm glad that you're happy, Lola, and you're back. And I was worried that maybe I did something wrong yesterday, and I'm thinking, oh no. So, but I'm glad that you're back. Big up to you. Everyone, please go and subscribe to Lovely Lola. Lovely Lola has started to upload her own content on YouTube. Please go and check out her channel. And your lovely jumper is amazing. Thank you very much. Wearing the jumper. You know what? The sun is out, and I've actually put my seedlings, my strawberries, my seedlings in the sun because somebody said it's going to snow in the next few days. I need the sun, so my strawberries, my tomatoes, and all my seeds start to grow. So, but it was a bit chilly this morning, so I put it on just for you. Big up to you, lovely Lola. Let me just go to your channel, and if I remember how. Oh, you've changed your appearance. Let me just quickly do this quickly, and then I'll carry on. Share channel, copy channel, share channel. Oh, there it is. And remember that in the chat, the first link that I put on there for talkSPORT, go and check out that talkSPORT article by Colin Andrews. It's absolutely brilliant. But this link that I'm putting in now is the channel for lovely Lola. And let me just put in here, above is the link for Lola. Please sub to Lola. Oh, I hope it's okay to do that, Lola. Big up to everyone in the chat. A good afternoon, Steve. I will come back to the next points with respect to the Sky Sport, not Sky Sports, talkSPORT article by Connor Andrews in a moment. I'm just going to go through the chat quickly to catch up. Big up, says Steve. Good afternoon, Steve. I hope you're doing well. And it's going to be a great night tonight. There's loads of football. I will come into the predictions for tonight later on after I finish talking about Jürgen Klopp linked to Real Madrid and the consequences and the fallout from that. I think it's a big domino. It's not just a link. There's something bigger going on there. And it's clear that the Real Madrid president would have seen that first leg where Arsenal, Declan Rice bended it like Declan Rice, not like Beckham, but like Declan Rice. Declan Rice is now in a different stratosphere in world football right now. Bukayo Saka, from what he went through last night, in the first half, missing a penalty, picking himself up, dusting himself up, the maturity that he carried on doing that first half, 0-0, that 0-0 yesterday, the Arsenal players, I think people may not agree with me, but as a neutral looking at Arsenal, what they did in that first half and keeping it to 0-0 was as big and as important as what they did in the whole 90 minutes in the first leg. Just look at how they played in that first half. And then in the second half, between halftime, and I will go into it, Bukayo Saka, someone grabbing his neck, grabbing his shoulder, trying to unsettle him. Arsenal fans, how do you feel about your Bukayo Saka, someone trying to grab him at halftime and trying to unsettle your player? Absolute liberties there. I'm a neutral. I was like, take your hands off him. Take your hands off him. What are you touching with your hands? Do you know what I mean? But anyway, so Bukayo Saka doing his talking on the pitch and not on Instagram. On the pitch. There you go. Well done, Bukayo Saka yesterday. He's now on another stratosphere. And if Arsenal don't land a trophy this season and next season, would you blame a player like Declan Rice and Bukayo Saka wanting to say, do you know what? I need to get some silverware. Like, do you know what I mean? I've got the silver polish. It's already it's already arrived, but I need some silverware to polish. So, but I think Mikel Arteta is clearly, hopefully, he'll be able to deliver that type of those two legs with Arsenal in the semi-finals and in the final. No one's going to remember. No one's going to remember what just happened last night. No, but there might be a thought. Some fans might remember it. People only remember the club that lifts the Champions League this year. Big up to Lola says, big up to you, Steve. I hope you're doing well this morning. Lovely Lola says, how is your tomato? They're not grown yet. I'll take a picture of it. They're in the sun, and I'm waiting for the seedlings to come out. The sun is on them, so hopefully it'll come out. Please help me get to 10 likes if you can in the chat. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe at Diego C. Palace. Lovely Lola says, put a plaster on the tent. Can say that again. Well, they need to put more than a plaster. I think Manchester United fans. Look, Manchester United fans, that's another club. That's another worldwide brand, football brand. Like Simon Jordan puts it, not in my words, because I can't use the same vocabulary I cannot articulate myself as good and as well as Simon Jordan, but go and check him out actually on talkSPORT, especially when he's talking about the boxing. If you know, you know. But anyway, Manchester United, if they get their act together, their ownership, I think in their ownership and what's going on the pitch, putting a plaster on the tent at Manchester United is not going to fix it. Forget about the tent. Go back to the foundations of what the club is about and build on that. And if Ineos or Jim Ratcliffe can get it right, then who knows where they will go. But the worry with that is that then they will come shopping at the Crystal Palace players. Make no mistake about it. And I'm just going to have a headache. I've still got a headache from that first half last night against Newcastle United. I've still got a headache and the nightmare. I'm still shaking from I mean, it was one of those first halves. Oh my days. Big up to lovely Lola. And Steve ROC says, apparently Klopp not happy at Red Bull, says to ROC. I think it's, remember that the role that he's there at the moment at RB Leipzig. And, you need to also understand a little bit, if you can. I'm sure you do, Steve, but football fans out there, how Bundesliga's football clubs in Germany have established themselves, not for season after season, but for decades and decades, from the origin of how German football clubs are built from back in the day. Local communities, local manufacturing industries, they're very localized. And what RB Leipzig did, when what they did to change their name and how they structured, it was against the grain of how the identity, the fabric of how Bundesliga clubs articulate themselves, founded themselves, with their fan base, with local communities, with local manufacturing companies. They went against the grain. So for Jürgen Klopp to go there, it didn't just raise a few eyebrows in the Bundesliga, in German fans, whether they are RB Leipzig fans or not. They would have raised the comment. There would have been a discord, if you like, within the Bundesliga football fan bases in all the Bundesliga clubs, in my opinion. And that's all broken down from how German football clubs are founded in their history within Germany. As I say, closely related to local communities, local manufacturing, local companies. And RB Leipzig just went against the thread. And so, yeah, so to hear points like Steve saying there, apparently Klopp not happy at Red Bull. Yeah, where there is smoke, there's tinder dry little flames maybe coming up there. Steve R says, if you're lucky, what? You're lucky if you have sun. I have rain. Steve RC, I've got blue sky here in South London because the Crystal Palace are on a high. We've got the best manager in Europe in Oliver Glasner, and he's not going anywhere. Tottenham Hotspur fans, Liverpool fans, Manchester United fans, in fact, any Bundesliga football clubs that Oliver Glasner is focused at Crystal Palace, and he's doing an amazing job at Crystal Palace, and none of you can have him. That's why I said it. We're on a high, the Crystal Palace fan, because we're going to Wembley for the semi-finals of the FA Cup against Aston Villa. And Lovely Lola says, I won't mention Newcastle. It's okay. I've still got the headache on it, so you just did. Please go and subscribe to and your boys let you down. They let themselves down. I don't know what happened. Well, actually, I do know what happened in that first half, but I'll talk about that later on, because I'm still fuming, because I know that they're a lot better than what they produced in that first half. And my heart goes to the Crystal Palace away fans that made the trip to St James's Park yesterday and came back. In the link, I've put there the link for Lovely Lola. Please go and subscribe to her. She's started to do new content on her channel. I was upset to see Palace crumble. Yeah, I was. If you look at the watch along, I was losing it, and then. But I'm glad that you're back, Lola, and good morning to Alicia Shinikova. I'm glad that you're both back. I was worried that maybe I'd done something to upset both of you, and I'm glad that you're both back. I'm glad that you're okay. Please go also and subscribe to Alicia Shinikova. She's also started to upload just trying to figure out how to do this, if I remember how to do this quickly. Please subscribe at Diego C. Palace if you are new, and help me get Alicia Shinikova up to 10 subscribers if you can. She's just started to upload stuff on her channel, and it's absolutely amazing. Choreography in different techniques of performing dancing. It's absolutely amazing. Hold on. Share. So well done, Alicia Shinikova, for starting to upload stuff. Copy. Just trying to remember how to do this. Just bear with me. I'm not the quickest on these things. Paste. I'm just going to put on here above, please sub to. Just come into the chat now, and then I'll carry on with what I was talking about. Copy, sub to Alicia Shinikova. Link above. Also, the very first link that I put on the chat right at the top, you know what? I'm going to pin it. How do I pin it? Replace pin message. There it is. It's pinned. Please go and check out this article on talkSPORT by a sports writer, Connor Andrews. I think he works for Sky for talkSPORT, and that article was uploaded yesterday. Like the 4 sections that he put in there. Brilliant. Right. Where was I? Morning. I've done that. Lovely Lola says it was upsetting to see Palace crumble. Yeah, believe me, I was. You're king of kindness. Lola, likewise yourself. So please, Alicia Shinikova, keep up the content creation. Please subscribe to Alicia's channel and to Lovely Lola as well. How are you feeling, Alicia Shinikova? Let me catch up on the chats quickly. You're kind of. Thank you, Lovely Lola. You're welcome. I hope your little dog Pinkerbell is enjoying the sun. I hope you got a bit of sun where you are. Don't put in the chat where you live in the country. Keep safe. The legends streaming live. I've chosen my side, Team Diego, and the Queen gets a like. Yes, please go and show lots of love and subscribe to the Queen, the 10th City. I will shout out one of her channels later on. Definitely. Amazing content, and look how what the work that Alice does in her channels, and you'll learn. This channel is not affiliated with anybody else. It's just, but definitely you will learn if you're a content creator, and I'm absolutely certain about that. How are you feeling after last night's Toon drama? My head still hurts, like literally, Alicia. My head is like a mushroom cloud. It's about to go. What's kept me happy is D'Artagnan, the horse. I had to go and get an apple for the horse, and the parrot is over there with the original duckling there with their eyebrow. They're happy there, so they're happy, so I'm happy. Shake it off and don't worry. Yes, that's right, Alicia. Shake it off, like Taylor Swift said. Germany have a 5+1 rule. SSB, listen, it is absolutely there's a lot going on at the moment with Premier League managers that are presiding in the Premier League, and also the Premier League managers that are in the Bundesliga, and it's going to be a domino effect. But the domino effect that's going to happen is the moment that Fabrizio Romano, talkSPORT, Sky Sports, if you like, there's other good reliable sources, when they start saying there's consultation between Jürgen Klopp or the next manager for Real Madrid, that's when the big domino starts to fall. You're the main champion. Thank you, Alicia. You're welcome. I watched talkSPORT when Simon Jordan on. Yeah, I like Simon Jordan. I don't agree with everything that he says, but I like the way he articulates himself, so especially about boxing, and also. I'd wish that Simon Jordan will start a boxing label with Daniel Levy. Daniel Levy having the stadium, one thing, and Simon Jordan with what he knows about boxing. I'd like for Simon Jordan to start a boxing label, bring in about 10 to 15 fighters. Can you imagine Simon Jordan up against Eddie Hearn at 15 fighters against 15 fighters? It will be absolute scenes. I would absolutely love to see that. Imagine the scenes. But anyway, probably will never happen. But there you go. Well, apparently Simon Jordan was linked to Chelsea to advise Chelsea. Go and check it out. Anyway, Alicia Sidikova says Keelia close to 100k. Yes, the channel for Alice that I've been shouting is called Alice Moore. I'll shout it out. Do you know what? Let's just do it. How do you do it? Hold on a minute. There it is. So if you can. I'll do it. You know what? I will do it, but when we get, I've only got 2 people watching at the moment, so I'll do it when I've got a few. Do you know what? Let's just do it anyway. Because how do you do this? Please go and subscribe to this channel. It's content about all Premier League clubs, and it's a content creator. Her name is Alice. And please go and subscribe to this channel, and link above, please sub to Alice. More Alice channel. Football content. There you go. Okay. What is it? Personal blame, your curtains. You know what? That's a very good point there. That's a very good point. Do you know what, Alicia? I'll be looking at it from all aspects, and you probably got to personally, I blame the curtain changes for the loss. Do you know what? You're absolutely right. Do you know what? I don't even know what I've done with my shirt. There's my lucky scarf, and now I'll go back into it. Let me just put this update, and then I'll catch up with what I was saying about. There's my lucky scarf that kind of didn't work out yesterday. Let's put that there. Where's my Crystal Palace shirt? Oh, there it is. Let me just get a hanger and I'll hang out. That's a good point there. Unbelievable. Let me just get a hang. Oh. Oh, no, it's going to fall down. Hold on. There we go. That's better. Oh, no. Oh, no, but if I do it like that, you can't see it. We're living like that. Can you even see it? I don't even know if you can actually see it. There you go. I hope that makes sense. Big up to that. Yeah, no, my lucky stuff didn't work yesterday. That first half was just hurtful. My headache still hurts. So, Simon Jordan, and I advise you to only promote. Oh, okay. I will do. Okay, I will do that. Thanks, Alicia. Please subscribe at Diego C. Palace if you are new. Cheap Simon Jordan. Okay, yeah. All right, so let me just put that in. Where is it? Big up to Alicia. Go to channel. No, I've got to put this one on. There. There you go. Okay, here we go. Simon Jordan versus Diego. Simon Jordan versus Diego in the ring. Gloves. No, I could never compete with Simon Jordan. Maybe one day in the future, but not now. Not now. Big up to Alicia, and it's my excuses. Yeah, it was the curtains. Lucky Scrum. Nice green apple, says Lola, and yeah, it's the channel that needs. Oh, Lola says, yeah, it's the channel that needs 100K. Oh, right, yeah, there's another one. Where is it? Oh my god, I can't keep up with it. How'd you do it? Right, after this, I'll go back into what I was chatting about. Let me just go into it. I remember how to do it. It's that one. Okay. There it is. There it is. It's quite descriptive. Go and check out this channel. It's called Aquilia Football, and it's amazing football content creation there. Go and check it out. Big up to everyone in the chat. Right, so where was I? So I've mentioned at the beginning of this watch along, in response to Jürgen Klopp or Xabi Alonso, cut a long story short, given this article on talkSPORT by, if I can find it again, where is it? There it is. By sports writer Connor Andrews. It was published yesterday. It's just the way it was formulated. It's literally, it's got 4 sections to it. And it's kind of rang a tone into what I was thinking about for the last few months, about what the ramifications of, because Real Madrid are looking to change their manager, Ancelotti going to possibly manage the Brazilian national squad. And is it going to be Jürgen Klopp or Xabi Alonso. Xabi Alonso has been a long favourite to be going there, but right now there's a lot of momentum in Spanish sports media linking Jürgen Klopp with an instant return to club football at Real Madrid. It's gathering pace and it's gathering momentum. And I don't think the language barrier would be a problem for Jürgen Klopp. I think he's too experienced to allow something like that to be a problem. I think he's got it. He's still a good coach manager and a good manager. And that's very an understatement in itself. I'm going to read out this part from the article where from Conor Andrew on talkSPORT, and he mentioned that a journalist called Constantin Eckner told talkSPORT the key details of the break clause that could see him take the German job. We're talking about, of course, Jürgen Klopp. For now, Jürgen Klopp won't return to be a manager at club level, it goes on to say, and then it goes on to say, although he has an option to leave Red Bull in the future in order to take over the German national head coach position, that might happen after the World Cup in 2026, but not right now. So Jurgen Klopp is busy what he's doing at RB Leipzig. I haven't been happy with him linking, of course, Oliver Glasner to RB Leipzig. Whether RB Leipzig will be a type of Bundesliga club that Oliver Glasner may want to manage, that's another question. Because my understanding when he left Eintracht Frankfurt, the way Oliver Glasner didn't renew the contract, it kind of unsettled a few situations there in the Bundesliga, a sort of world of managing clubs football. And so there's something there. There's something amiss there. So whether RB Leipzig is a type of club for Oliver Glasner, I don't think so. I think the one that I'm worried about is Vincent Kompany if he's released by Bayern Munich, because they're now out of the Champions League. And I'll come into that in a minute about Oliver Glasner linked to other football clubs. Right, I'm going to read on the article by Conor Andrews of talkSPORT Sports. He goes on to say, quoting him, no, this is quoting a journalist called Constantin Eckner, speaking to talkSPORT. He goes on to say, but of course, if Real Madrid comes knocking, he will have the chance to maybe force himself out or maybe get bought out by Real Madrid. That's just like, it'll be small change for Real Madrid. 2 gate receipts, inward revenue from 2 home matches will buy out Jurgen Klopp like that from the RB Leipzig position where he is right now, in my opinion, I reckon. Or by Bayern Munich or by whomever. There you go. There's a mention of Bayern Munich. There you go. That's what I've been saying for weeks on end. The article goes on to say, I know this is something else that I wrote before, just for those of you who don't know about a little bit of background about Oliver Glasner, and this is now going to bring me into the next section about Oliver Glasner, is Oliver Glasner's Bundesliga experience includes coaching roles at VfL Wolfsburg and Eintracht Frankfurt. That was the last club that he left over there. And at Wolfsburg, he led them to European qualification in the first season and Champions League in the second. Also, with Frankfurt, he won the Europa League. So Tottenham Hotspur fans, Manchester United fans, Oliver Glasner has won that competition. And he's not going to you, lot. He's not going to you because he's Crystal Palace. We're on a high on our way to Wembley. And Oliver Glasner is doing an amazing job at Crystal Palace. The coaching staff there, the coaching staff that he inherited at Crystal Palace when he landed there. We're going to Wembley, so none of you can have him. There, I said it. Anyway, it goes on. I'm going to go to say, so with Frankfurt, he won the UEFA Europa League in his first season and reached the Champions League knockout stages, and also an FA Cup final as well in a different competition. After leaving Frankfurt, of course, Oliver Glasner was appointed by Dougie Freeman and the Crystal Palace chairman, as Mr. Steve Parish, as the Crystal Palace manager in 2024. So that's a little background on Oliver Glasner there. And so now I'm going to talk about Oliver Glasner. No, actually, before I go to talk about Oliver Glasner, I have to mention something else that happened yesterday in that and that is Bukayo Saka, when he was leaving the at half time. Coming to the chat now. Paste. Right, okay. Diego talks all about. Big up to Lola. I'm coming to you. Right, next. I will come to that, but I'm going to mention this because he links up with the. Thank you, Lola, for reminding me that. At halftime yesterday, I'm pretty sure that Arsenal fans out there, they would have noticed this. I'm just going to pour myself some more coffee. Just 1 second. Oh. I hope I don't spill this. Right. At halftime yesterday, if you're an Arsenal fan, please help me get to 10 likes. If you haven't hit a like, please subscribe at Diego C. Palace. I'm just drinking this to keep me going. It's supposed to be a morning football show, but I've got like 9 minutes left. But no, I'll carry on. At half time yesterday, during the fixture between Real Madrid, Los Blancos, Los Galácticos, contra el equipo de Arsenal, there was a situation where Dani Carvajal, there's a photograph going around, and it's happened, so I can say that it's happened. Bukayo Saka was left the pitch, and he was about to. He went past the technical area, and he was about to go into the tunnel to go in for half time. But before he can reach into the tunnel, I'm sure the Arsenal fans have seen this. I'm pretty sure they have. Bukayo Saka was grabbed by the neck, and then after he was grabbed by the neck, then he was grabbed by the shoulder by Dani Carvajal. Now, what was exchanged in words between Dani Carvajal and Bukayo Saka, I don't know, because I can't lip read. But what can be certain is if you look at the facial expression of Bukayo Saka, he felt that his space was intruded by Dani. You could see the facial expression and it was good that there was clearly Arsenal personnel there that quickly intervened to just separate them. Bukayo Saka did nothing wrong. He just it was like that. But if you look at his facial expression and his body language, he was clearly taken aback by that intrusion of what Bukayo Saka. If you're going to have a conversation with a professional football player as they're coming off the pitch, speak, but don't reach out and touch. This is another thing when I say to Crystal Palace fans, if they're doing selfies with Crystal Palace players, or even also when if you do selfies with celebrities or managers or anywhere around Selhurst Park, I have nothing to do with the football club at Crystal Palace. I'm just a football fan. But just ask politely if it's okay to do a selfie or sign an autograph. But at no point, put your hands on the player or individual that you're doing. Don't invade that space. Don't reach out and touch. Just don't do that. And sometimes I see that and I'm going, oh, don't go there. Just keep your distance. Because you're putting the player or the manager, or if it's a celebrity, you're putting them in a situation there. So just ask them about the selfie, or if you're speaking to them, just speak to them, but don't reach out and touch. I think that's something you just don't do. So I know sometimes football fans get excited because they see someone, a player or a manager or a celebrity at a sporting event, and they get excited and all that. I get that. But don't reach out and touch. Don't reach out and touch the individual. Don't touch. But clearly, Dani Carvajal, I've put the name there, he reached out and he grabbed Bukayo Saka's neck. And then he was talking to him clearly. We can't see what he was saying because it's in the back of his head. But then you could see Bukayo Saka's reaction to it. And go and talk to Arsenal fans. They know Bukayo Saka more than I'll ever know. But I could see that. And Bukayo Saka was like, one, why are you probably grabbing me? Two, where are you coming from? And two, probably I can't even understand what you're saying because, like, do you know what I mean? I'm from London, kind of thing, that kind of thing. But clearly, it was just too far. And I think that's something I think Arsenal fans should be discussing with that football club, saying to them in the next fixture against they're up against PSG, aren't they? Yes. So PSG, before the match, at halftime, and after the match, players like Declan Rice, players like Bukayo Saka, the moment the whistle blows or before the whistle blows, at halftime especially, just get your coaching staff to surround your player and shield him from anyone trying to come in and unsettle them. There's coaching staff there. Just go and shield your player. Just don't reach out and touch the player. Just don't make contact. And so that's one thing. I'm sorry. I don't know how Arsenal fans feel about that. But as a neutral looking at it, I was thinking, no, don't go there. Don't go there. I don't understand why Dani Carvajal has any explanation whatsoever to reach out and grab Bukayo Saka by the neck, firstly, and then grab him by the shoulder. No. It's clear what he was doing. Maybe, I don't know what was said, but clearly what he was trying to do is unsettle Bukayo Saka. What business has he got to go and reach out and grab Bukayo Saka by the throat, by the neck, and then by the shoulder and try and pull him back and talk to him? No, not for me. So I'm sure Arsenal fans will be debating that. Why was that? Why did that happen? And what could be done to prevent that in future Champions League half times? Alicia says, smash a like for the best in the business. Thank you very much, Alicia. And I will take on board your suggestion. How do I do this? Copy, print. Replace pinned message. And I hope I haven't missed any messages. Oh, I've missed a few comments. Hold on. Alastair Polislago, lovely Alicia, that 100k. Yes, that was. Please go and subscribe to Alicia. Akelia. Oh my God, get my names mixed up. And then lovely Lola says the original duck has lost the Palace logo. Yes, it's got a bib. It's got a bib. I'm not going to tell the duck how to dress. But it is what it is. The original duckling is hanging out with the parrot, so I'm not getting involved. And lovely Lola says that's why you lost. Hit the curtain and covering the logo. You're probably right, Lola. You're absolutely right. Yes, it's very sunny outside, but chilly. That's what I mean. If you take your little Chihuahua little dog out, or is it a Jack Russell? I don't know what type of dog it is, but I know it's a little dog. Put a little coat on it. Don't just put a little red scarf around it. Yeah, keep your little dog warm. Pinkerbell is the name of the dog that lovely Lola has. Sending support to the Crystal Palace Bath Tug. Yes, they're happy. De-joint conversation there. Hope Palace turn up at Wembley. I mean, me too as well. Or else the Ducks take your tickets. I don't think I'll be allowed to take the duck into Wembley. They might say, why are you bringing the duck in here? Bukayo Saka versus Dani Carvajal. That's what I'm saying. Arsenal fans out there. I don't understand why Dani Carvajal reached out to Bukayo Saka, grabbed him by the neck, by the throat, and then by the shoulder at halftime. Just don't invade that space. And it's clearly that he was trying to upset and rattle him. Well, Bukayo Saka came out in the second half, and did you see that goal that he scored for Arsenal, dinking it over the keeper? What he said at the end in his interview after the match, it was a statement win by the Arsenal players, by the Arsenal Football Club. And yeah, I echo that as a neutral. How's the croc? Do you know what? They're in the cupboard. I'm not wearing them at the moment, but they're doing okay. That's the Crocs. And only want a selfie with the two duckings together and a kiss. Yep, I'll have to figure out how to do that. Maybe I have to just put them up there and then you do a selfie. That could be a way. I'll put the ducks up here in front of the camera and then you do yourself a selfie with the screen behind you with the ducks and then take a picture. That could be a way. Thank you very much. Alicia likes the channel. And painted pink. Yeah, did you notice in the golf, in the Masters, Rory McIlroy, he was wearing Nike trainers and half of the trainers were actually pink and the rest of it was white. They've been sold out. You go anywhere online, any sports shop, and they're getting sold out like that. Everyone wants those Nike Rory McIlroy golf shoes. It's Paris Hilton style. I don't know. I did meet Paris Hilton many years ago on Oxford Street opposite. We didn't speak, but I did see her in front of Selfridges years ago. Good afternoon, I should say now, not good morning, to Luman. Thank you very much for dropping in, Luman. I hope you're well. It says, hello, Diego, and all the non-living creatures out there. Don't tell them that. They'll kick off. Steve Harris says, Palace can beat Bournemouth. They have not been in good form. Well, they won the last game. They need to recover. Well, the moment that Tottenham Hotspur were linked with Andoni Iraola, their form dipped. The moment that Tottenham Hotspur were linked with Oliver Glasner, and I'm coming to that in a minute, we haven't seemed to have won at Crystal Palace. So Tottenham Hotspur fans, stop stirring it up. Stop stirring it up. You keep throwing your players and your manager underneath the bus, Tottenham Hotspur fans. And you know what? Tonight, every time Tottenham Hotspur scores, I'm going to cuff my ear like Ange Postecoglou, and I'm going to aim it at all the Tottenham Hotspur fans out there. We'll talk, stirring it up. Oliver Glasner's not going to go to Tottenham Hotspur. Not happening. Not happening. You're below us in the Premier League. Hello. Steve, big up to Steve. It's good afternoon to Scott Whipley. I hope you're doing well. Glad to see you back. We look in good form for the semi-finals. Yeah, I'm glad that we're getting these difficult results out the way. I still maintain that Oliver Glasner, the coaching staff there, and the players, they know what works for them and what doesn't. As a Crystal Palace fan, my heart was just breaking in that first half for the Crystal Palace away fans that walked up all those steps at St James's Park, all the way up to get into the St James's Park and to view that first half. Why didn't JP take the penalty? I'll come to this later on, but it was what it is. But yeah, we should be well. We should be well, and remember that Aston Villa still have to play Newcastle United between now and that semi-final at Wembley between Crystal Palace and Aston Villa. Remember that Crystal Palace will be playing on their home colours. It was announced officially at the Crystal Palace webpage. Go and check it out. It's cpfc.co.uk. I've nothing to do with the football club, just a football fan. But go and check out. There's plenty of content there about the incoming FA Cup fixture between Crystal Palace and Aston Villa. Go to that because you'll get the correct information. And it goes, haha, I'm shy. Don't worry, it's okay, Alicia. It's okay. How's the Bling Chavs crew this morning? They're okay. Yeah, they're hanging on. Do you know what? I don't know what's happened to the necklace that the parrot was wearing. It's somewhere, and I haven't found it. Diego, is Amorim forced to play Onana? Is this a choice? Says Elu Manu. My understanding is yesterday's press conference, pre-match conference, is that how you call it? Ruben Amorim confirmed to their Manchester United fans and to the world, I suppose, that Onana will be starting for them tonight. And he has to. He's the best keeper that they've got. Mistakes or not, they have to. It's not an individual sport. It's a team sport. So if the goalkeeper makes a mistake, if a right back makes a mistake, for example, last night, Arsenal versus Real Madrid, when Saliba lost the ball just in front of his penalty area, and the Brazilian player, oh, my head's gone blank now, took the ball off him. The Real Madrid winger, the left-hand side. Oh, my head's gone blank. Anyway, Saliba made a mistake. It'll come to me in a minute. And it's a team sport. So the whole team has to rally with Saliba last night. No, it wasn't Rodrigo. Rodrigo didn't take the ball off Saliba. It was, now I have to find out. If I don't find out, it will do my head in. Vincent Jr. Vincent Jr. took the ball off Saliba. But before that and after that, Saliba, in my opinion, had Vincent Jr. and Mbappe in his pocket, certainly in that first half. Oh my days, that performance by Saliba in the first half, not just him, but the whole team defending, that and keeping it to 0-0 in that first half. As a neutral looking at those two legs in the quarterfinals in the UEFA Championship there between Real Madrid versus Arsenal, that performance by Arsenal players in that first half last night, keeping it to 0-0, was as monumental and imperative. What they did off the ball, on the ball, transitional play, defending, or off the ball, winning individual duels. It was as big as that first free kick that Declan Rice scored in the first leg. It was up there with that. It's what kept Real Madrid absolutely off their game. So Ruben Amorim going for Onana. He has no choice. He has to pick the best players technically and experience for this match against in the Europa League tonight. Would Onana get in front of Dean Henderson? No, not at Crystal Palace. But it is what it is. Alicia quickly says, Alicia Shinikova says Emma Bunton will be cheering the Spurs on. Yes, I expect so, because Emma Bunton, the Spice Girls singer, and she's not just a singer. She writes music, and she does loads of other stuff as well. Amazing stuff. She's a Tottenham Hotspur fan, so I expect she'll be cheering on Tottenham Hotspur. There's a lift. No, not as far as I know. There is no lift there. You know what? Actually, someone did tell me there was one, but that's my reaction. But I've never seen it. So, no, I've never experienced it. But I've been told that it's a hell of a walk up the steps. That is one stadium that I have not been to, St James's Park. So I've been told that it takes a lot of steps to go up to get seated, and my heart's broken for the Crystal Palace away fans there. Watching that first half, we could have gone 1-1, but even said that, I'll come to that match in a minute after this. In the first 9 minutes, we could have been three goals down had it not been for Dean Henderson in our goal. The Crystal Palace players can play a lot better than that, and they know that. I don't need to tell them. They know their levels. But then this is the match that was postponed because they were in the League Cup final with Liverpool, so we didn't play it then. And we all know what Newcastle did to Liverpool that weekend anyway, against a very good Liverpool squad. Alicia says, Pink Duck, the Pink Palace Duck to the Pink Wavers FC. Let's give them a pink waver. Actually, I could do with a nibble. Please hit a like. That's a great point there, Alicia. Who do you want it to give it to? To the duck. I'm going to put it over here. There. So they got a pink wave up. I don't want to put it over there because I don't want the crumbs to go out there. So I'll have to get the vacuum cleaner out. Ellie Manu says, thank you, Alicia. Thanks for showing me Diego's channel. Thank you very much for doing that, Alicia. Appreciate that. Lumen, to answer your question last night, I chose Lola. Okay. Lumen says, Diego wasn't that a foul on Declan Rice on Mbappe. By Declan Rice. You know what? Never mind the foul by Declan Rice on Mbappe. Some of the Real Madrid players last night against Arsenal, some of the challenges that Bukayo Saka had to endure, some of the tackles that Declan Rice had to endure, some of the, if not most of the Real Madrid players, they were doing MMA moves out there, strikes. For those of you who don't MMA, UFC, there were some of the Real Madrid players out there where they couldn't get the ball off Arsenal, so they resulted in doing MMA tackles on the Arsenal players. Don't ask me. Go and ask the Arsenal fans. They'll tell you it was absolutely ridiculous. I was like, "Where's the yellow card, ref?" Like, do you know what I mean? As a neutral, I was like, "Damn, I'll be fuming if someone did those kind of tackles on my players. I'll be absolutely fuming if I didn't see yellow cards and red cards being handed out." Don't ask me. Go and ask the Arsenal fans, and they'll tell you that some of the real Rudiger, and there were some other ones. Even Bellingham on Declan Rice. That's another example. Some of the tackling from Real Madrid last night, it was MMA style strikes on the legs of their opponents, like literally. Oh my days. Do you know what I mean? That's what you will see in the cage fight at the UFC. Real talk. Real talk. Go and talk to the Arsenal fans, they'll tell you. And then to cut it all at halftime, Bukayo Saka, someone tried to grab his throat, actually grab his throat and his shoulder. It was Dani Carvajal at halftime. Go and ask the Arsenal fans, they'll tell you. If you know, you know. Where are we quickly? Diego wasn't the foul. And also Alicia, I chose both. Luma says, always enjoyed your support and happy with how Salom spoke to you in Goldbridge the other night. I can't remember that. I haven't been on Goldbridge. I don't understand. I didn't get that, Alicia. Lumen always enjoyed your support. Wasn't happy with how. I don't know. But I can't remember that. But yes, Alicia says yes. Diego grabbed Elimio on the buds. You was a mod on Facebook. Oh right, yeah. So you've been a mod on somewhere else. Big up to everyone in the chat. Elimio says Alicia channel hated. In fact, other channels. I was a mod at the terrace and now granted up and snatched it away. My Spanish. It also banned me in other big channels. LU man, if content creators feel that you've gone over a certain line, they will ban anybody. So you got to also bear in mind what the content creator is trying to do with their audience, and there's a line that you can't cross, and sometimes the content creator will say, look, I've got to focus on what I'm doing, and then they'll just pull it back. So if that's happened to you, I'm sorry to hear that, but I'm going to side with the content creator because there's a lot of work that the content creators have to do in the background before they go live or before they upload stuff, and I'm beginning to understand that as I'm starting to do it. So if somebody has banned you, it's because you've crossed that line and you've upset them. So it is what it is. Big up to everyone. It's okay, just chatting to. Oh right, I see what you're saying. Ignore that off. It's off track. All right, thanks, Alicia. I was like, what's going on? I don't know. Big up to you, to lot. Right. The next topic which I wanted to discuss. So I've mentioned the talkSPORT article. I've put the link up there, right at the top. Actually, let me just repin it. If I can find it. No, that's not it. There it is. Replace pin message. There. If I've just pinned it, please go and check out the article on talkSPORT by a gentleman called Connor Andrews, a sports writer for talkSPORT, and what he what he put up there. Definitely go and check it out. Well recommended. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe at Diego C. Palace. Help me get to 10 likes. So I've mentioned that the article there and the concept of Jürgen Klopp potentially landed at Real Madrid and what a major domino that will be, not in the incoming transfer window at the end of the season. Literally, the fact that Real Madrid are now going to change their manager is going to be a domino effect. The transfer window has started. That's the way I'm saying it. It's going to affect Liverpool. It's going to affect other Bundesliga clubs. It's going to affect Premier League clubs who develop players and progress their careers, like Crystal Palace, and some of their players will be attractive to the movement of players moving from one club to another, perhaps between the Premier League and La Liga in Spain. As an example, Xabi Alexis McAllister and Trent Alexander-Arnold. If those two players, for example, were to leave Liverpool and land at Real Madrid with Jürgen Klopp there, would they be the first two players to leave the Premier League to go to Real Madrid? Probably not. And if those players leave the Premier League and affects the Premier League clubs, it's going to have a domino effect on clubs like Crystal Palace, because they are progressive in developing the opportunities and development of football players. As a Crystal Palace fan, I don't want no one to leave, but I live in the real world. So it's going to have a domino effect. The appointment of the next manager at Real Madrid is going to have a detrimental effect on the next deals leading up to the end of the season and also into the next transfer window. Diego, true, got your point. And Jason, good afternoon to Jason from sunny. You're in that neck of the woods. So yes, it's sunny here in South London. I've got the sun on my seedlings, so hopefully it's forever. Thank you very much. Let's help Diego C. Palace grow iconic channel. Thank you very much, lovely Lola. And I really appreciate your help there, lovely Lola and Alicia, and your suggestions. You're probably figuring out I'm making this up as I go along. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe at Diego C. Palace. The title for this watch along today, or live football show, morning show, although it is the afternoon now, is Jürgen Klopp or Xabi Alonso to Real Madrid. Cut a long story short, I think it's a big domino to fall. The next appointment of Real Madrid, it will affect the Premier League clubs, big and small, Liverpool and also Crystal Palace, for different reasons, in my opinion. And also, should it be Jürgen Klopp or Xabi Alonso? Quickly, I think Jürgen Klopp is a ready fit, as Simon Jordan has mentioned in that article, which I've pinned at the top of the chat by talkSPORT. I don't think the language barrier will be a problem for Jürgen Klopp. He's dealt with international football players, international managers, opponents, all his career as a coach and as a manager. So I don't think that will be a problem. Xabi Alonso, I think, will be a more long-term strategy should he land at Real Madrid. But if you talk to Liverpool fans, if you talk to Real Madrid fans, those two set of fan bases, they are very adamant in their views, I think, in how they want their clubs to progress at the start of a season. Make no mistake about it, when Liverpool start a new season, well, maybe not this season, but they want to land a trophy on every competition they want to participate in. That's what Jürgen Klopp philosophy was back in the day when he was there. That's my view of it as a Crystal Palace fan looking into Liverpool. And if you look at Ancelotti, every competition that they go into, whether it's domestic or out in European at Real Madrid, the fan base of Real Madrid fans, they expect to land those silverware, and anything less is not acceptable. So Xabi Alonso leaving Bayern Leverkusen could be a long-term fix for Real Madrid. Whether it's the right fix, whether it's what it's been advised to Perez, the Real Madrid president, by the two people that are around him that kind of call the shots there, we'll find out. The decrement effect from that is My worst scenario is if Vincent Company is released at Bayern Munich, because now they're out of the Champions League. Bayern Leverkusen lose Xabi Alonso as an example. And also we got RB Leipzig looking for a new manager. 3 Bundesliga clubs with different ideology and structures. I just know at the end of the season, if Oliver Glasner at Crystal Palace still only has then 1 more year on a contract, my head is just, it's going to hurt, because I know they're going to come calling. So we'll have to wait and see what happens on that one. The next section, which I spoke about, was Bukayo Saka versus Dani Carvajal. Dani grabbing Bukayo Saka. Arsenal fans, I think that was out of line. I don't think no one should be grabbing any player, let alone your Bukayo Saka, in the neck and then on the shoulder. You saw the facial expression of Bukayo Saka, the Arsenal player, the way he was grabbed, and it was like, you know what I mean? And but he didn't rattle him. He went out in the second half and he scored that goal for Arsenal. So well done to Bukayo Saka there. But I think that needed to be said. I always say to people, don't reach out and touch who you're asking for a conversation or a selfie or a signature. Ask politely and be patient. And if the answer is no, it's a no. If the answer is okay, please wait, then wait patiently. The next bit, which I'm going to talk about, is Oliver Glasner linked to other football clubs. Not officially, in the sense that the clubs have announced there's been contact, but there is a lot of momentum gathering because of the great work that Oliver Glasner and his coaching staff have done at Crystal Palace. He'll be the first to say, and he said it in pre-match conferences, that it's not just him there. There's coaching staff. There's the medical department team. It's the nutritional people, the physios, the structure, the staff that work at Crystal Palace, and then of course the Crystal Palace fan. It's a working movement. It's not just Oliver Glasner doing everything. So Oliver Glasner there because of the results. Okay, let's not forget what happened last night in that first half against Newcastle United. He's bringing attention to it. So next up I'm going to talk about is Oliver Glasner, and big up to all of you. Please, thank you for the 8 likes. Let me just, please like and share and subscribe at Diego C. Palace. Thank you very much, Jason, for putting that in. Let me just put in here. Thank you all for the, how many are we on? 8 likes. Anything above 4 or 5 likes is amazing for me. So thank you very much for the 8 likes. But please don't stop. Thank you for the 8 likes. Thank you for the 8 likes. Please help the live stream get to 10 likes, I suppose. Thank you very much, everyone in the comment section, for helping promote the likes. It really helps. It helps attract new subscribers, and hopefully, if you're watching new, please subscribe at Diego C. Palace. What's the next bit? Where are we? Quickly, I'll go through the chat and then I'll. You know what? I do need to go to the toilet. I'll be back in a minute. But growth to iconic level. Alicia says, I thought gas. Oh, right. There's something going on there. I'll stay out of that. Lovely as Diego, my aunt once had an apple tree in a garden in the 80s. And it was Granny Smith. Yeah, these are Granny Smith apples. I love Granny Smith apples. I tend to, if I eat the other type of apples, I have a reaction to it. But the Granny Smith, I think because of the acidity in it, I don't have a reaction to it. But I'm actually, when I finish eating that, I'm going to put the seeds and I'm going to try and plant them later on today if I get a chance. So hopefully I'll grow an apple tree. A lovely Lola says 8 likes. Thank you very much, everyone. Please help me get to 10 likes. Quickly, lovely Lola says plaster for Paris. If you know, you know. Diego, there's a classic Genesis song called Domino. There's plenty of amazing music. I've got to select some new soundtracks when I upload on Instagram to just promote the channel. So yeah, I've got to figure it out. No, I watch you, but I feel sorry for the 5 up shambles. Yeah, Lola, that was. Oh, so you did watch it. I'm glad you watched it because I was worried that maybe I'd done something to upset you and Alicia, and I was a little bit worried. But as long as you're both fine, I'm glad that you've returned. Thank you very much. Big up to Jason as well. There in the chat says, please like, share, and subscribe. Right, next up is I'm going to talk about Oliver Glasner at Crystal Palace. And in the description, I have put some information about Oliver Glasner. And let me just separate this so it doesn't look like it's to do with a talkSPORT article. I'm just going to separate it. I'm going to put the first bit in there. I thought a bit of it. Copy. Save. Quickly. Oh, it doesn't fit. Oh, Lord. Copy. There. Big up to Jason. Chimbini says the St. Helens team sheet is out for tomorrow. Yeah, I will try and do some watch-alongs for the Rugby League tomorrow. There's no Premier League football, any type of football. It's just Rugby League tomorrow. I'm going to try and fit it in because obviously it's Good Friday, so I'll try and fit in some rugby. There's a match at 12:30, one at 3 p.m. and one at 5:30. I think the St. Helens match is at 3:30. You just got 2 more tickets. Yeah, there should be plenty of tickets. Big up to Damo. Big up to the. Yeah, I got my ticket. I went to the box office and I had to get the moment that they were starting to release it. If you don't know how to get tickets for the FA Cup fixture, Crystal Palace versus Aston Villa, or come to think about it, any tickets for the Crystal Palace men or the Crystal Palace women, they've got some very important matches coming up. So good luck to Leif Sermud, the Crystal Palace women's manager, and also good luck to Oliver Glasner. Just call the box office and they'll help you. They've got amazing staff in there, and they'll point you how to work things out on the Crystal Palace app or on their webpage. They're amazing, and if you're there. And you have any questions on how to go and watch the Crystal Palace women's team, just ask them. They'll help you. And they'll tell you the right information. The reason why I don't relay that information is, one, I've nothing to do with the football club. I'm just a football fan. But secondly, I'll be really worried if I then say something about a fixture, about how to get a ticket, about times and all that, and I get it wrong, and then someone doesn't get there. I'll be like heartbroken. So to get the correct information, go to the official webpage at cpfc.co.uk, or just call the box office during their working hours and they will help you. On match days, there's plenty of staff around Crystal Palace, Selhurst Park, and just ask them and they'll help you. And if they don't know the answer to your question, I'm sure they'll get someone to help you get the answer, especially when it comes to going supporting the Crystal Palace women's team. They're there to help you, and I'm sure they'll help you. And big up to Damo's got 2 more tickets there for the FA Cup. I can't wait for that. But after that first half yesterday, I will come into that in a minute. After I finished talking about Oliver Glasner, lovely Lola says the parrot likes your red jumper. Looks like the parrot's red. Let's have a look. Yeah, I think the parrot is staring at my jumper. He's like, itchy chin, I approve. I need to find the parrot was wearing a chain, like D'Artagnan is, and I don't know what's happened to it. I have to go and look for it. Maybe they left it in the bathtub. I don't know. If you know, you know. And Jason Shimini says, Lola didn't see the duck next to the parrot. They keep moving around all over the place. If you know, you know. Right, next up, I'm going to talk about Oliver Glasner and all Premier League clubs and Bundesliga football clubs linked. And there's a lot of whispers and it's all gathering momentum. Nothing official, of course, between the football clubs. But where there is smoke, there is fire. But I'll be back in 2 minutes. I just need to go to the toilet because I've been streaming for just over 2 hours. So just going to the toilet. So back in, give me 4 minutes. Back at It's say 12:30. Let's say 12:35. There you go. Back into the small break. Small break. Toilet break. Then talking about Oliver Glasner. Oliver Glasner. Right, be back in. Just please don't leave. I don't want people to leave, but I need to go toilet. Actually, since I'm going to the toilet, let's just have another sip at this. Probably it's a contradiction in itself. I'm going to the toilet and I'm drinking at the same time. It's making it worse. Right, I'll be back in 5 minutes. Just give me a second, people. Oh, well, I better put the microphone on, mic off. Just give me 4 minutes. Right, just coming. Just going to pour a bit more of coffee. Oh, actually, I fancy some orange juice, actually. Right, let me just get into it. Oh, cheers to everyone. Oh, thank you for hanging there, 8 people. That's a lot of views for me. Thank you very much. No, I don't think that's a good idea. Let's give these guys a little spin. They've been behaving well. I'm not sure if the apple's going to stay on now. Ooh. Yeah, the apple. Normally the apple rolls off. I hope you can see it all okay. Please hit a like and subscribe. Help me get to 10 likes. Right. We'll let them spin around for a little bit. They've been sitting there in situ. Just to round it up, at the top, I spoke about the talkSPORT article by a gentleman called Connor Andrews. Uploaded it yesterday, talking about the link of Jürgen Klopp and also Xabi Alonso. And I've been thinking about it, talking about it actually for not for weeks, but for months. The implications of the new appointment of a new manager at Real Madrid is a big domino that it will fall down. It will have ramifications in managers' appointments within European football, perhaps in the Premier League as well, and also on players leaving and coming and going as clubs leave the Champions League, the Europa League, and the Conference League. That's a big domino, and it's going to affect clubs that I expect, like Liverpool. If they lose players to Real Madrid, that will entail Liverpool maybe to be proactive in the transfer window with perhaps some Crystal Palace players. There's been links, whispers about Mark Gahey as an example. So it's going to affect a lot of Premier League clubs out there. Should Jürgen Klopp go to Real Madrid? I think he's an exceptionally talented, experienced manager, and he could fit the mold there. As Simon Jordan mentioned in that talkSPORT article, which I've pinned to the top of the chat. And in my opinion, I echo what Mr. Jordan said there, also with the author of the article itself, Connor Andrews is his name. And also I've mentioned the performance of Arsenal, the way, not just the fact that they took out the champions of the Champions League out last night, it was the mannerism of how they did it in the first leg, in the second half. I think it was more of a statement win over Real Madrid in comparison to when Manchester City beat Real Madrid. I think it was 3-1 or 4-1. But having said that, with that in end, Arsenal still haven't lifted the trophy. And they haven't lifted the trophy for, I think, 5.5 years. So, but based on the performance of the Arsenal players yesterday at the Bernabeu, and also what they did at the Emirates last week, I think they've got a very good chance against PSG. I think PSG are vulnerable defensively, but they've got a very good transitional way of playing from defense to attack. So Arsenal need to do their homework there, I expect. But I think Arsenal could get to the final. Whether they lift the trophy or not, you need to talk to Arsenal fans. They'll probably tell you. But based on the performance, what they've seen with what they did to Real Madrid yesterday and in the first leg in the quarterfinals, talk to the Arsenal fans. I'm sure they'll tell you whether they think they can get it over the line and lift that trophy that they've longing. The only London football club to have lifted the Champions League, not once but twice, but the only club in London to have lifted the Champions League trophy. The Champions League trophy. It's Chelsea. I think I'm right in saying that. So this could be an opportunity for Arsenal to get over that hurdle. That's my view on it. And also, I've mentioned as well the fact that at half-time, Bukayo Saka was grabbed by Dani Carvajal. I think that's a line you don't cross. You don't grab someone you want to talk to in any situation. The moment you reach out and you make contact physically, you've lost whatever argument you may want to indulge with that other individual. Just don't reach out and talk. Have a say. Ask for a conversation, but don't reach out and touch. I'm sure the Arsenal fans will be absolutely fuming the way Bukayo Saka was treated at half-time. But he did his talking on the pitch. Look at that goal he scored. The rest is history. Right, quickly, I'll go into the chat and then I'll talk about Oliver Glasner. Where are we? Oh my God, you guys have put loads of comments. Thank you very much, everyone in the chat. Please help me get to 10 likes. And if you want to go back to the beginning of the watch along, what I've done just now, you can hear what I said about Jürgen Klopp, Real Madrid, Liverpool, Premier League clubs, transfers, etc. Feel free to check it back on playback. And if you have any comments, leave them in the description. Not in the description, in the comments below. I think that's what I'm supposed to say. I'll get it right one day. And Jason Chimini says, "Did you see our third show?" I haven't, but I know you've posted your third. I presume you're talking about your third rugby league, St Helens, the Saints, third shirt. But I will have a look at it certainly before, if I make time tomorrow to do the watch-alongs of rugby. There's a lot of rugby league football tomorrow, but it is Good Friday, so I've got other things on as well. Jason also said, I know, Lovely Lola says, snooker draw is out this morning. Oh, right, we can even talk about that in a minute, Lola. So thank you very much, Lola. She was talking to Jason. That could be an option. I can have a look at that later on. Yeah, I've seen, very surprised O'Sullivan playing. Right, that's the conversation between Lola and Jason, but I could have a look at that. And then they're talking about snooker. Big up to you lot. Lola says, I like the way the volcano. Oh, so they're talking about snooker and the squash. And Larry Lowe says, on the squash again, tropical. No, it's just orange juice. It's just orange juice, Lola. There's no vodka. There's none of that. Big up for the hearts there, everyone in the chat. I think I can do them as well, actually. There you go. Back at you. Back at you. Cheers to everyone. I've just come back from the toilet and I'm drinking again an orange juice. It'll be like a fountain in a minute. If you know, you know. And Diego, I'm happy with Arsenal are through. Lovely. It's not happy that Arsenal are through. Listen, whether you like Arsenal or not, the performance, the way Arsenal removed, and it's as somebody said at the beginning of the chat, it's like Arsenal ripped the soul of the Real Madrid fans, the way their players were beaten by Arsenal in the first leg. Declan Rice bending it like Declan Rice. Was it better than Beckham when he bended it like Beckham? Remember that really good, amazing film that was created there back in the day. But definitely, yeah, even Liverpool fans are in acknowledgement of how Real Madrid were taken to task and knocked out of this year's Champions League by the Arsenal players in the first leg and the second leg. And yeah, so on that, quickly, I would add two things have happened. Two players, Declan Rice and Bukayo Saka, have now transformed themselves to a different stratosphere within European football. People out, if they didn't make notice of them before, now they've made notice of those two players without any doubt. So they've gone into a different stratosphere, and if they can do those type of performances like they did against Real Madrid in the Champions League final and lift the trophy, that will. If that's not a statement, I don't know what will be from their perspective. Remember, they haven't lifted the trophy, so they need to get to that final, and hopefully they can do it. But whether you like Arsenal or not, that performance by the Arsenal players, it's as Bukayo Saka said, it was a statement win in using the analogy of boxing there. But big up to Lovely Lola. And then Lovely Lola also says the Arsenal players should have engaged. We should egg him with yolk. Yeah, when Bukayo Saka was when someone grabbed him by the throat and stuff like that. Yeah, no, it's something that they shouldn't. Can you play golf? I've played some golf back years. Those of you who know Hastings, the old fish town, above the cliff, there's a golf course up top there. I used to play golf back in the day up there. So yeah, I can. I'm a good putter. Not so much of a good driver. of golf. But putting, I'm very good. We'll talk. I am. Big up to Alicia. That's why I did the Masters watching them a few days ago. Right, Oliver Glasner. Oliver Glasner, I've put in the description because, first of all, I've got to emphasize, Tottenham Hotspur fans, what are you like? The moment that you started to be connected with replacing, there's so many Tottenham Hotspur fans that are, for their own reasons, I don't know, but Tottenham Hotspur fans, they clearly have thrown Ange Postecoglou underneath the bus. So the moment that they were linked a few weeks ago, about a month ago, with the Bournemouth manager, Antonio Iraola of Bournemouth, they I feel uncomfortable now. The form of Bournemouth kind of went down, and ever since Tottenham Hotspur have been linked with making the acquisition or interest of acquiring Oliver Glasner's services, the moment that Ange Postecoglou gets dropped out of the Europa League, and this is from Tottenham Hotspur fans, not from me as a Crystal Palace fan, from them. I'm like, we haven't won. We lost against Man City, and now we've lost against Newcastle United. So Tottenham Hotspur fans, talk about something else. Look at somebody else. Don't involve Oliver Glasner. Why? Because Oliver Glasner is doing a magnificent job at Crystal Palace. Yes, that first half yesterday is still ringing a headache in my head. The Crystal Palace players can play a lot better than that. But Oliver Glasner, the staff at Crystal Palace, were doing a magnificent job. Because now we're talking about Crystal Palace, well, potentially getting close to qualifying for Europe. I think that might be an ask right now, but certainly in the up and coming semi-final at Wembley between Crystal Palace and Aston Villa, Oliver Glasner is delivering on results in that perspective. I need to see my Crystal Palace at Wembley lifting the FA Cup. The Crystal Palace, I don't speak for the Crystal Palace fans, but the Crystal Palace fans, they deserve that. They need that. We need that. Number two, the people that look after the club, the custodians of the club, the previous owners of Crystal Palace, and the ones before that, the staff at Crystal Palace that organise stuff for the Crystal Palace women's teams, for the men's teams, for the unders, for the academy, will need to go to Wembley and pick up that FA Cup. I cannot break it down and cascade it to you lot out there, but the club needs to get to Wembley final and the FA Cup and just lift that trophy. We need to make Wembley our second home. And Oliver Glasner, I believe can not just get us there, but get us over the line. I just got a hunch, and I think we could do it. I think they can do it. Even after what's happened at the Etihad against Manchester City, and also what's just happened recently last night at St James's Park. Actually, talking about St James's Park, Eddie Howe, I hope you recover well from your injury. I think you're the best England manager, pound for pound, at the moment. I'm a bit old school. I wanted you to be the England manager. I think you should be the England manager, but I know you are recovering in hospital. So to Eddie Howe, get well. Football needs you back when you're able to get back. So get well, Eddie Howe. Yeah, I'm saying that with chest. So good luck to Eddie Howe recovering on his health condition. Also, right, let's get into it. So now Oliver Glasner has been linked to other football clubs. So as I say, Tottenham Hotspur, the moment Tottenham Hotspur is linked with Crystal Palace, and our form has dipped. We've lost against Man City. So I'm not putting that on Oliver Glasner. I'm not even putting that on the Crystal Palace players. I'm not even blaming the referees. Although I have to say, we shouldn't have had Eddie Nketiah and Mark Gahey sent off during the Brighton game. They were never red. 2 yellow cards, red cards, out of order. It is what it is. I'm putting it on the Tottenham Hotspur fans who are throwing Ange Postecoglou underneath the bus. And ever since they've been linked with acquiring Oliver Glasner's, of course, there's been no official contact between Tottenham Hotspur and Crystal Palace that I'm aware of. But the Tottenham Hotspur fans are just thrown Ange Postecoglou underneath the bus, and talking about Oliver Glasner, and look, we've lost 2 games on the bounce. So I'm putting it on the Tottenham Hotspur fans. If you know, you know. With that said, I still think categorically before the matches later on tonight that both Ruben Amorim for Manchester United and Ange Postecoglou, in my opinion, because they're on separate sides of the draw in the Europa League. I've said it for months, and I still maintain it. Way before Oliver Glasner was linked with Tottenham Hotspur, I do believe that both Ruben Amorim and Ange Postecoglou will get those 2 sides to the Europa League final. Who wins out of Manchester United and Tottenham Hotspur in the Europa League final? If it comes to that, you'll have to talk to Tottenham Hotspur and Manchester United fans. They'll know their clubs better than I'll ever know. But I think those 2 managers will get those 2 clubs to the final. And should that be the case, and of course then there will be one eventual winner from the Premier League that wins that Europa League final, that actually won't help Newcastle United fans, because apparently will demote them into the Conference League. That is my understanding. I could be wrong, but I think that is how it works out. Newcastle United fans will probably be able to tell you a bit more of that. Right. Alicia says, when do Colombia play next? I don't know. I'd have to look it up. And I suppose if you're talking about the Colombian national women's side, and also they've just gone through an international break just now, and also in the men's side for Colombia, the next international break. So I don't think that's the next one. My understanding is after the end of the season, but I could be wrong. So I don't know for sure. Good afternoon to Daniel 90. I'm glad you're there because I'm talking about Tottenham Hotspur now, actually. Big up to Daniel 90. I hope you're doing well. And yeah, I'm going to cut every time Tottenham Hotspur score tonight to get into the next round, to get to the final. Are they in the quarterfinals or semi-finals? No, they're in the semi-finals now. So if they get to the next round, whichever one, let's find out. Let's know what you're talking about. It doesn't sound professional if you don't talk right. It's the quarterfinals. So if tonight, Tottenham Hotspur fans, every time your team scores, I'm going to cut my ear, just like Ange Postecoglou is going to be doing it to the Tottenham Hotspur fans. That's right, to the Tottenham Hotspur fans. And I'll be saying, why are you chucking your Australian Tottenham Hotspur manager underneath the bus? Get behind. Stop throwing him underneath the bus and stop talking about Oliver Glasner, because he's not coming to your club anymore. You're below us in the Premier League. We'll talk. Alicia Sinikova says, good luck to Spurs tonight. Yes, I think they'll get it over the line. And I think also Ruben Amorim will get a result tonight. And good luck to Rangers as well. And I think Chelsea should win because they're 3-0 up against Warsaw in the Conference League, if I'm not mistaken. They all kick off at 8 p.m. tonight. And Alicia says, come on, Leon, smash the circus tent. You said that, Alicia. I didn't. I don't want to get in trouble. But I understand that the nickname of the tent is because Sir Jim Ratcliffe announced publicly about a month ago that they have an intention of building a new Manchester United stadium and they're going to put a tent over it. What a tent has anything to do with the identity of the fabric of Manchester United? I'm an outsider. I don't get it. I don't get it anyway. But you need to talk to Manchester United fans. What's the tent got to do? It's got to be a right carry-on camping, if you know what I mean. Big up to Alicia then, if it isn't already. Please subscribe at TGC Palace if you do. No, Eddie, what? No, Eddie wants a football club. Eddie Nketiah is doing really well at Crystal Palace, and he scored in the last FA Cup fixture against Fulham. I'm so glad that he scored the last goal that's taken us into now towards Wembley. I believe Arsenal fans know that Eddie Nketiah, for them, he scored quite a few goals for them in the FA Cup fixtures. So I hope he does that for us as well. Alicia Shinikova says, Diego Sam Allardyce manager played. Yes, Big Sam did manage us. I do believe it was Simon Jordan that brought him in. Yes, of course it wasn't. Wasn't the first manager they brought in there. I was happy when Simon Jordan brought the late Trevor Francis. I was glad to see him there. At that time, I had a season ticket in the Steve Coppell lounge, and I could see him managing Trevor Francis. Yeah, it was good to see. I'm glad that Simon Jordan brought him to him. I was glad to see him. The legend. He was a legend for Nottingham Forest. If you know about Trevor Francis, he became the first £1 million transfer fee player, if I'm not mistaken. Big up to Alicia Shinikova. Hopefully, Spurs. Yeah, I think I think they'll get through tonight. It's 1-1, if I'm not mistaken. We'll come into that. So I'll carry on talking about Oliver Glasner in a minute. I think next international break is in August. Yeah, so it's after the end of the season. Yes, you're right, Daniel. That's what I thought, but I haven't checked it. Is it me or your mic? It's a little bit funny. I can't do anything about it. Yeah, you're right. It is sounding a bit. Let me just mute it. Let me just mute it. Right. I hope this sounds better. Oh, let me just. Yeah, it does sound a bit crackling. Oh no. Yeah, I can hear it as well. Let me just close this off. If it sounds too badly, I might have to end the stream, and then that'll be it. Please hit like and subscribe at Diego C Palace if you are new. And yeah, it was sounding a bit crackling, so I love it. I want to take the blame for it. Don't worry. Big up to Alicia. And yes, it's a right carry on camping. It is, yes. Right. So Oliver Glasner, because of the work that they're doing, transformation of different style of play since it's coming at Crystal Palace. I think Oliver Glasner, the staff, the coaching staff, and the Crystal Palace players, even the ones that have not had, I would like to see a bit more on the pitch. I'd like to see him on the pitch, actually. Ramonese, the young player that we've got from Millwall, but it's just he's in a pecking order. But there's players that can do a role there because of what Oliver Glasner's been delivering. There's no surprise that there is links to him to other football clubs. Like Tottenham Hotspur, and he's won trophies in European. If you look at the description, he's won the Europa League and all that stuff with Frankfurt. So he's done things in Europe and also domestic-wise in the Bundesliga, as an example. So, and as I say, when Oliver Glasner was appointed by Crystal Palace, and was brought in by Jürgen Freeman, for me, he let me just check this. I said it then that I felt that Jürgen Freeman and Crystal Palace then, or the Crystal Palace club, by bringing in Oliver Glasner in, I said it then and I say it now, they've appointed the new Jürgen Klopp of European football at Crystal Palace. And there's a lot of clubs that are interested in because of the hard work that his players, the staff, are doing for Crystal Palace. But yeah, so I'm a little bit worried. But I think their focus, Oliver Glasner, when I've heard him on pre-match interviews, he's clearly very focused and determined on match-to-match steps, who they're playing next, just one match at a time, and keeping that momentum of the team spirit, the intensity that clearly they have within as a squad in training, I expect, and also what we see on match day. Okay, yesterday in that first half, oh, my head still hurts, like literally. I'm just going to check the sound one more time, because if it is bad, then I will have to stop. How long have I been? It's only 3 hours, so let me just quickly check. Please hit like and subscribe at Diego C. Palace. Thank you for the new subscribers. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe at Diego C. Palace. And it is... thank you for all the views so far. Wow, that's a lot of views. I can't deny. Thank you very much. Right, let me just going to check the sound. I hope it doesn't. I missed the other one. Never mind. Let's have a look. Does that sound okay? There is some crackling in the background, so I hope it doesn't affect it so much. I wonder what could be causing that. Let me just reduce the brightness. Maybe that it's overheating. I don't know. I can't really do much about the microphone because the microphone is literally it's part of the computer, so I can't unplug it and bring it back on. Let me just quickly empty bin. I don't know if that helps. Right. Okay. So as long as you can still hear me, more or less. Right. So I'm not surprised that Oliver Glasner is linked, but I've just noticed, as an example, the moment that Andoni Iraola, when he was linked to Tottenham Hotspur, suddenly the form of Bournemouth dipped, and now since Tottenham Hotspur fans have been talking about Oliver Glasner potentially going to Tottenham Hotspur, that form has dipped as well. Like Michael is panic. So unbelievable, Tottenham Hotspur fans. Just concentrate on what you're doing tonight against Eintracht Frankfurt. Yeah, that sound doesn't sound too good. I might have to end the stream now. But anyway, I've kind of covered most of it. What I can do is... Oh, man, that's annoying. What else can I do? I don't understand. No, I'm not going to mess around with this. So that's okay there. I'm going to have to reboot the computer, but not now when I'm live. I'll have to do it afterwards. Damn it. Anyway, I need to round up now. Yeah, I'm going to have to, because the sound is not good enough, I don't think. Don't give me messages now, please. Right, let's see what that sounds like now. Yeah, no, that's too crackling. All right, what I'll do is I'll end it up now. But thank you very much, everyone, for watching. I was going to do the predictions. So what I will have to do, if you can hear me, is before tonight's live watch along for Tottenham Hotspur versus away at Eintracht Frankfurt and Manchester United at home to Olympique Lyonnais. And I'll also keep an eye on Rangers away at Bilbao Athletic Club. And I'll also keep an eye on Chelsea. So that's an 8 p.m. kickoff. What I'll try and do is come live around 7 or even before that and then do my predictions for those matches. And then we'll have to check who got what right before that. I can't do it now because the sound is not good enough and it's just not right. It's not fair on you lot. But definitely, thank you very much, everyone in the chat, for all the contributions. A massive thank you to SSB28 for your contributions earlier on with those amazing comments that helped me kick off the live stream. Please go and check the beginning of the live stream. There wasn't any sound issues there. Oh, I think it sounds okay now. I think it's all right now. Now, there's still some grappling in the background. That's so annoying. And so in the chat, thank you to SSB28. A massive thank you to Nake, who also dropped in there. A massive thank you to Lovely Lola, to Steve RFC, to Alicia Shinikova. Thank you to Damo1168. Thank you to LU Man. Who else? Demo1168 again. Oops. Jason Chimbini, thank you very much for dropping in earlier on, or if you're still there. And thank you to, I think that's it, Daniel90. How can I forget Daniel90? So that's it. Yeah, I'm going to wrap it up now. Thank you for watching. Please hit the notification bell on Diego C. Palace. I hope you've enjoyed today's football show, and I'll catch you up later on tonight for the watch along for the Europa League and UEFA Conference League quarterfinals, the second legs, to see who gets through and who doesn't. Thank you for watching, and let me just say thank you to everyone. Thank you all for the 8 likes. Catch you up later on. Take care, and have a wonderful afternoon. Take care. Bye-bye.